What a beautiful Friday night for football. The sun is just setting to the west. El Segundo's Eagles, they're still on the field practicing, and the Lawndale Cardinals have just gone into the locker room. And boy, what a beautiful night it is for football. A little bit brisk, but the wind is blowing from left to right here. I'm Lou Stowers along with Sebastian Spencer. He's going to be covering the sideline for the Lawndale Cardinals. Tolly Anderson, welcome to the broadcast. She's going to be covering the El Segundo Eagles. And Darius Jackson will be analyzing the play-by-play. I'm Lou Stowers. But first, before we get into the preview of tonight's game, we have some unfinished business. We had a little bit of a glitch in our get-along when Beverly Hills came to Hawthorne. And here's Tony Dong Jr. to tell you all about that game.
We take you to Hal Kep Field as the 4-1 Hawthorne Cougars battle with league foe Beverly Hills Normans, who are looking for their first victory. In Hawthorne's first drive, running back Joseph Taylor gets the ball, but coughs it up and the Normans recover it, setting them up in Cougar territory. In the Normans' first possession, check out receiver Thomas Goolsby displaying his athleticism with this wonderful leaping catch, running all the way to the goal line, giving them a first down. It leads to running back Eli Dardashti carrying the ball in for the score. The failed extra point makes it 6-0 Beverly Hills. With the Cougars driving, quarterback Joshua Robledo fools the Norman defense, keeping it himself, running it in for the touchdown. Taylor's successful two-point conversion run gives Hawthorne the lead 8-6, which is the score after one quarter. In their next possession, Hawthorne gets a little risky as they go for it on fourth down, but Robledo turns it into a reward as he scoops up the fumble snap and scrambles for the first down. What a great play by him. A couple of plays later, Taylor catches the shovel pass from Robledo in the backfield and does the rest, running through the defense and for the touchdown. The botched two-point attempt keeps the Hawthorne lead at 14-6. Beverly Hills quarterback Jeremiah Clapper mishandles the shotgun snap and the Cougar defense pounced right on the ball, giving them great field position in the red zone. On the ensuing play, Taylor practically walks into the end zone untouched. Along with the successful two-point play, the Cougar lead extends to 22-6, which will be the score at halftime. Early in the third quarter, Beverly Hills looks to come back as receiver Nick Sullivan catches the pass and spins right into the end zone for the touchdown. They failed to get the extra point, keeping their deficit at 22-12. Taylor goes for the hat trick as he catches the pitch in the backfield and takes off past the defense, going all the way for the touchdown, increasing the Cougar lead to 28-12. Beverly Hills desperately needs a first down, so they go for it on fourth, but the Hawthorne defense makes a stand, forcing a turnover on downs. Next play, Cougar receiver Devon Houston catches a Robledo rocket for the touchdown. The two-point attempt is good, extending their lead to 36-12. The Hawthorne defense gets in on the fun as defensive back Jeremiah Lima intercepts Clapper's pass, taking it back to the house for the pick six, capping off the Cougars scoring 21 unanswered points in 3.5 minutes. The extra point adds to the lead, 43-12. Due to technical circumstances beyond our control, the remainder of the game is unavailable. We apologize for any inconvenience. Final score, Hawthorne 50, Beverly Hills 18. Beware, the Cougars are on the prowl at 5-1. This is Tony Long Jr. for Sports Corner.
And then last week, Santa Monica High School came to Hawthorne. Egidio DeLeo has more on that one.
The 5-1 Hawthorne Cougars march onto Hellcat Field for this Ocean League matchup against the 1-5 Santa Monica Vikings. Despite their 1-5 record, Santa Monica was not going to back down in this one. They would bring the fight to Hawthorne. After a 43-yard run from Leo Reynoso on the quarterback keeper, Reynoso then hands it off to Melvin Hicks, and he goes in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. The Vikings would then go for two, giving it to Tony Dancy, and he follows his blockers in for the two-point conversion. It's 8-0 Vikings. The Cougars would answer right back. Joshua Robledo with the play action, keeping it himself, juking the defense, and almost gets pushed in the end zone for the score. Touchdown, Cougars. They would miss the PAT attempt, and it's 8-6 Santa Monica with the early lead. The Vikings were not intimidated here tonight. With 1 minute left in the first, they're at the 5-yard line, and Tony Dancy would drive it in the end zone for the short touchdown run, giving the Vikings a 15-6 lead going into the second quarter. Fast forward in the second quarter with 4 minutes left in the quarter, Reynoso under center with the excellent play-action fake, keeping it himself and taking this one 20 yards into the end zone for his first touchdown of the night. Tony Danzy would push his way through for the two-point conversion, and the Vikings open up their lead. It's 23-6, Samo High over Hawthorne. The Vikings were not happy with that lead. With seconds left before halftime, Reynoso out of the shotgun, drops back, looks deep, has a man open, and connects with Rodney Creighton in the end zone. Touchdown! Santa Monica would lead 29-6 after a missed PAT, and that would be the score after 2 quarters of football. In the fourth quarter, same score, 29-6, Vikings on top, but the Cougars defense would play much better in the second half. The special teams coming up with a huge block punt. Omodalapu Obiora with a recovery in the end zone, and that is a Cougars touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. Hawthorne would go for 2. Robledo with the screen pass to Joseph Taylor. He goes right, he has room, and reaches for the pylon, and a 2-point conversion is good. The Cougars trail 29-14, and there's hope, Hawthorne fans. The defense gets the ball back for Robledo and company with a little over 5 minutes to play. Robledo drops back to pass, throws one up in the air, and right in the hands of Brian Cruz. And Cruz will run it back. A big return and an even bigger momentum turner for the Vikings. The Vikings would add more to their score. A touchdown run by Tony Dancy would make it 35-14. Then another Robledo interception right into the hands of Dwayne Davidson. And the junior will take this one all the way to the house. A pick 6 for Davidson, and the 5th interception on the season for Robledo is a costly one, as that would seal the Cougars' fate. They would drop this one 42-14 over the Vikings.
We had a chance. We're down by 14. Got the ball at the 10-yard line. Can't throw a pick. He can't drop the ball in the red zone. I think we got to the red zone 7 times and didn't score.
The Cougars head into a crucial matchup against Culver City next week.
All right, thanks, Egidio. And this game tonight, Darius, is going to be a challenge for the Cardinals because El Segundo is always a good team.
It definitely is. They were able to respond back after losing a tough one against Culver City, responding back, blowing out a Beverly Hills team. But that does not mean that this game is going to be easy for the Eagles. They're stepping into a very tough matchup against the Cardinals, which it seems to be every single game we cover tends to be one-sided favoring the Cardinals, that is. But I don't expect it to be one-sided tonight. I think it's going to be a very close matchup. El Segundo, they're a young team, but they're going to bring it.
Steve Shevlin, the head coach of the Eagles, is a tough guy on the field as far as dealing with his Eagles, and they are always up for the challenge.
They definitely are. They are 6-1, and Coach Steve Shevlin said earlier that the teams have had a great practice, but plans to execute tonight and stop the ball.
And how the ball is going to be stopped, we just don't know, with Jordan Wilmore going to be at running back for the Cardinals. And how is Wilmore doing these days?
Yeah, you know what? Wilmore is actually playing really great on the season, feeling a lot better. Had a couple lingering injuries early on in the season. But you know what? This Lawndale team is definitely ready. They're going to need some great quarterback play. But you know what? El Segundo is a really well-coached team. They're 4-0 away, so they thrive on these games when they're not at home. And they're facing a team that's undefeated tonight. And one thing about Lawndale, they have beat every team that they were supposed to beat in the league. In back-to-back weeks, you get Culver City, now you get El Segundo, the 2 toughest teams that you're going to face.
That's right. It's going to be the Eagles and the Cardinals coming up next. Back up top of the Cardinals' nest, and now the captains of the Cardinals are going to go out and meet the captains of the Eagles. The Eagles have Matthew Romero, along with Tim Schwartz, and number 55, Gunnar Rogers. Okay. Also there is Kyle Freeman.
Introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
And our referee for tonight's game is about ready to make the coin toss, and that's Jay Belshaw. There you see Jonathan Blackman, Jalen Hamler,
Okay, good evening. I'm Mr. Belshaw, I'm your referee. We have Mr. Shelton. We have Mr. Allen, Mr. Noya, and Mr. Dester are your other officials this evening, okay? All right. El Segundo, you're the visiting team, so you're going to call the toss, okay? Show them the coin. That is tails, okay? The other side where it says 2009 finals is heads. El Segundo's going to call it, okay? And Mr. Shelton's going to toss it. What are you going to call?
Heads.
Heads is what he's called.
Okay, give me a little space, fellas. He says heads.
He called heads. And?
It's heads.
It is heads. So you've won the toss. What would you like to do?
Defer.
Okay, El Segundo has won the toss, deferred that choice to the second half. That means, Lawndale, you get the ball to start the game, okay? Which goal do you want to defend? You want to defend that goal? Okay, put your back to that goal. Lawndale, put your back to that goal. Okay, Lawndale's going to receive to start the game. Lawndale's going to receive to start the game. Okay, everybody step in here. We're going to play this game under the highest level of sportsmanship. All unsporting acts will be immediately penalized. There will be no warnings. There's no taunting, there's no baiting, and there's no showboating, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's high school football, Friday night lights. Everybody play hard. Good luck, have fun, okay?
Hey, good luck. Good luck, you guys. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much, Jay Belshaw, and the captains, two more captains for the Cardinals, Apollo Bailey and Josiah Johnson. And Lawndale will get the ball first, and they will be going from right to left across your screen.
You know what? That was a pretty big statement by Coach Steve Shevlin from El Segundo. Deferring to the second half, you're putting out there Jordan Wilmore out there the first possession, probably trying to send a message there. Relying big time on the defense, you're going to need to stop that big time running back.
And we're going to have the national anthem come out now. So while we do that, we're looking at some of the Lawndale players. And we will have the anthem sung by one of the alumni here. So let's all stand and honor our country. So now it's time for football. The Lawndale Cardinals coming out in their red uniform tops, brand new, spanking clean, and their red pants and black helmets. The El Segundo Eagles, who are about ready to run onto the field, dressed in their whites and white helmets with the Eagles wings on the helmets. Kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles that Darius Jackson loves.
It's quite funny because a couple weeks ago you actually had the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Arizona Cardinals, which that game resulted in the Eagles blowing out the Cardinals, but I expect it to be different this time.
Oh yeah, so well, this should be a good game at first, but we'll see if this big offensive line for Lawndale can wear them down as Jorge Montani leads out the Eagles, especially with Tui Tupo Manu and Sione Tai leading the way, along with number 55 Kian Pinkston. Those are the three big linemen for the Cardinals, and those gentlemen, Darius, one's a junior, one's a sophomore, the other one's a junior.
It's definitely one of the most physical fronts that we've ever seen throughout the season, actually, that we have seen throughout the season, excuse me. And that's a tough task for El Segundo and pretty much any team that faces Lawndale. Teams, they have yet to win the trenches against this team. They're big, they're physical, they're nasty.
And they're fast.
And that's the whole package, if you ask me.
So we're going to keep an eye on this offensive line. Coach Travis Clark did say that one of the linemen was injured last week in a big win. They're all big wins over Culver City, 33-14. There's Travis Clark right there.
See one, West.
And so Jordan Wilmore getting ready to take the kickoff to the near side to our right, along with Jonathan Watson.
I expect them to kick the ball towards Jonathan Watson's side if you're smart enough. But once again, pretty bold decision from Coach Steve to go ahead and send out his defense unit. Maybe want to set the tone first if they could go ahead and see how they match up against this physical offensive line and now running back of Jordan Wilmore.
And getting ready to kick the ball off is Tyler Villalobos, the senior kicker, and he is a good one. I would imagine he's going to be playing somewhere on Saturdays. And also the kicker for the Lawndale Cardinals is a good one as well, Axel Perez. So there you see Jordan Wilmore, and he had well over 200 yards last week against Culver City. And the wind is blowing the Eagles' way here in the first half.
Yeah, it's a good kicker right there, so it should pretty much, don't expect a return here. It is blowing pretty well. I want to see how it carries on throughout the game, if it's going to die out or not. It could possibly play a factor.
Not here. There's nothing really between here and the shoreline except for the freeway, and we're just about even with it. So that wind really comes hard onto the west. So now we're just waiting to get things underway.
Speaking of the shoreline, perfect time to go to the beach, right, Lou?
A little chilly, but probably wouldn't be bad. So besides Jay Belshaw, the umpire is Mike Sheldon. The line judge is Glenn Toya. Cale Destrar is our head linesman, and the back judge is C.W. Allen. Villalobos getting ready to kick it off and strikes it high end over end, and is caught by Jonathan Blackman, and that's where the Lawndale Cardinals will start. Kind of a short kickoff, but you're keeping it away from Wilmore.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It looks like they were going for a pooch kick, trying to go ahead and see if the defense can't get there in time before the ball bounces, but Jonathan Blackman, he is a really good receiver for the Cardinals, able to get under it, wait for the fair catch. With the wind blowing to your back, though, I would have probably taken that chance and just kicked it to the end zone. So I have to say that they're probably trying to go for a little trickery there with that pooch kick.
It was a little unusual indeed, but now it's 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun is Jalen Hamler. Fakes to Wilmore. Hits the pass in the flat and is complete, and a big first down to midfield, and that was completed to Nate Davis.
Look, nice play action rollout here. Jalen Hamler getting the game going early on, hitting Nate Davis wide open, rumbling and tumbling down for a first down. Already in good field position now with this opening drive after just the first play. This Lawndale, this offense is very explosive.
There you see some of the defense. Number 10, Sean Lyon, played a good game against Lusinger High School along with Hunter Lynch. Out of the shotgun again. A new formation since we've seen. And now Hamler takes off, makes a juke, gets inside of El Segundo territory, down to about the 43-yard line.
And just like that, already on the other side of the 50, you have to go ahead and try to cover all the receivers, forgetting about what Jalen Hamler can do on the ground. And boy, does he move pretty well for a quarterback. Dual threat, if you ask me, and getting that first down. And the Cardinals are threatening already.
15 yards on the carry for Hamler and a first down.
Empty set right here.
And that means 5 wide receivers in the pattern, 3 to the bottom. Good protection. Hamler waiting.
A lot of time.
Good coverage. And has a man open. That's Wilmore, and he's hit immediately. But that's could be good enough for a Lawndale first down. And it is.
Look at that. All time in the world, and once it started collapsing, Jalen Hamler was able to create more time in the pocket, which he's already had enough during that play, finding Jordan Wilmore, getting him the ball. Another first down, 3 plays, 3 first downs. Cardinals offense moving at will right now against the Eagles defense.
Just the start of things. Now they're out of a traditional power I. Man in motion is Livingstone. And let's see if it's going to be an offside or a false start. Number 17, Sione Tai. That's what they're going to call.
They're discussing right now.
White into the neutral zone.
So it's going to be.
Oh, wait.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense.
Okay.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So the way that the Cardinals were moving, I thought it might have been against them.
That is true. But sometimes that does happen. They will call the encroachment or neutral zone infraction whenever a defender steps into the offense territory, line of scrimmage, causing the offensive lineman to move. And they will call an encroachment on the defender now.
Livingstone in motion again. It's going to be 1st and 5 as Wilmore has a first down and more. Spins his way into the 5. Touchdown, Wilmore and the Cardinals. 27 yards and a pretty move by Jordan Wilmore.
Are you kidding me? It can't be that. It can't be that easy, but it is that easy for Jordan Wilmore. Look at him finding beautiful space created from his offensive line. That big offensive line shedding a weak tackle. Look at that offensive line creating a hole there. You got to credit the big men there. And look at him, beautiful spin move there. Once a lifetime player and trying to get physical with the defender.
Kyle Freeman
Did one of everything on that one. He was using his finesse spin move and his power move, trucking. Was it Kyle Freeman that you said?
Yes.
Wow. Jordan Wilmore, he is.
With one hand tied behind his back. Sheesh. This is something special watching this, I tell you.
And now Eagles, they're trying to send it look like an early message with their defense out there on the field first, but it tend to backfire. Now they're down 7-0. Their offense does need to respond now.
Okay, that was a 5-play drive that took 1:59 and capped off by Jordan Wilmore's 27-yard run. The PAT was good by Perez. And Axel getting ready to kick it off. And only one man I see deep for El Segundo. And that's Matthew Romero, the quarterback for El Segundo. So coming off the field is Keenan Files, and coming on for the Cardinals, Tymar West. Maybe some equipment issues for number 13, Files. Now they make the switch again. The old switcheroo.
Got Jonathan Blackman out there. Won't be surprised, one of the fastest guys out there you'll see on the field today, or tonight I should say. Might be one of the first ones there.
Looks like he's going to get there, that's for sure. Romero makes the catch. Romero gets some good running room. Actually, a great return up to around the 40-yard line. We're going to call it the 38. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles with good field position. 9:52 left in the first quarter, and still a little nervous time here. Just break it down.
Look at him. being very patient on there. That's something that you rarely see in the young high school kids is being patient, waiting for the blocks to unfold. A lot of these kids nowadays, they just want to get going, get the ball, and get going. But you can see where a great play by Danny McKente. Good return there, waiting for his blocks, putting them in a very good field position for the Eagles. And it looks like there's a penalty following up, and they're moving on the other side of the 50.
Personal foul or block?
Most likely is the case there. It looks like they added on 15 yards from where the returner went out of bounds at. So now the Eagles, they're in really good field position now. They must capitalize off this against this Cardinals defense, which is very, very good with that front four.
From the 47-yard line of Lawndale, Romero not tired of running the kickoff and pays for it. And a nice smack by Jonathan Watson, but still about a 10-yard run.
Look at that. Teammates, good teammates, wiping off all the grass off his helmet. We'll see here. Romero, nice play action rollout. Can't find anyone, so he decides to use his athletic mobility.
Our time.
Takes it down. And a good move there following his blocks.
Nice block by Devin Bonney.
Let's go, D.
And a first down already for the Eagles. Already starting off in really, really good field position at this point now, so you're thinking that they could possibly tie it up this drive.
Out of the shotgun is Romero. He'll keep it again on a bootleg, but good defense by Jonathan Watson.
Once again, Jonathan Watson laying the wood on the quarterback, and I'm not sure if you want your quarterback to be taking these kind of hits. Kept it to the quarterback keeper on there.
Also,
Jonathan Watson.
Paulo Bailey also with a good play to stretch out that play.
It's got to go ahead and follow your blocks as well, and what Romero is be able to do. He has really good vision, but at the same time, I'm not sure if you want your quarterback to be taking all those hits right now.
2nd down and 8. Under center now is Romero, has one back, goes across the middle, and it's almost intercepted. It is intercepted. Intercepted by the Cardinals, and that was Stanley Livingstone. It went right through the hands of Devin Bonney, and now we have flags all over the field. So let's see what happened. The flags came after the interception. Well, let's figure all of that out, all the laundry out.
Well, ball was dead, in fact, wasn't it? The guy was down.
We'll see what they're discussing there, but a huge blow to the Eagles offense. I'm not sure if the pass was a little bit too ahead of the receiver or if it went through the receiver's hands. Either way, it's the last thing that they needed right now after starting off beautiful field position.
During the run back. Personal foul. Offense number 58. Penalty is 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Wow. So that penalty was called on Nick Wheaton.
Just through the receiver's hands. Not sure if he was a little bit too much out of reach. It did touch his fingertips though. Landed perfectly into Stanley Livingstone's hands. Good return there, plus the penalty, the personal foul afterwards. Now you're giving this Cardinals offense with Jordan Wilmore not running back the ball.
In El Segundo territory, and play is stopped by another whistle. False start.
At this point, it looks like penalties against the Cardinals will be the only thing that's holding them back, right?
Well, so far there's 20 yards in penalties, and I'm sure Travis Clark isn't going to like that too much. 8:48 left to go in the first, and Wilmore jumping, and maybe got that yardage back, and then some. Gets down to the 40-yard line.
Even though Wilmore might not always break away the big-time runs, but look at here, a normal solid carry, but that's 6 yards on there. You know, if you're averaging 6 yards a carry, you're pretty much doing really, really, really well on the ground, Lou.
So to the 41-yard line, that's a 6-yard run for Wilmore. So now it's a 2nd down and 9. Out of the eye. Across the middle, had a man wide open. It is caught by Anthony Williams III and makes a good run back down inside the 25-yard line where he's tackled by Kyle Freeman.
Looked like another penalty followed up after that. It's getting chirpy out there. It's getting very chirpy. It looks like this might be another personal foul because this came after the tackle.
Wow, that would be the second one, or maybe the third one. One on either side plus.
See a good reception with Anthony Williams.
Go to the 12. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 19. Penalty is half the distance to the goal, first down.
And you can just see there on the replay where he gave Anthony Williams an extra shove at the end after the tackle. When he got tackled down, as we see, he's brought down, placed his hand on the face mask. What are you doing? And then still giving him a little yank right there. You can't do that. Come on. It's a boneheaded mistake right there from the defender. Now you're costing your team, giving this offense now inside the 15.
Wilmore up the middle and gets hammered, gets blindsided as he comes across, but that's going to go down to about the 7-yard line. So 4 yards for Jordan.
Wilmore. Like I said, it does not always have to be the big runs, but you know, when you're getting 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, you're moving the ball down the field, and it is going against this defense, wearing and tearing down that front four of theirs.
Handoff off of left tackle and into the end zone. Touchdown Cardinals. So this one was a little tougher for the junior running back.
All the touchdowns might not be sexy for Jordan Wilmore, but once again, another touchdown for Jordan Wilmore, his second of the quarter. You see here, following his blocks. Look at this offensive line is big, and look at him. Grown man out there. That's a grown man in a high school body, muscling his way into the end zone. Jordan Wilmore, he is an animal.
Perez tacks on the extra points. So 7:16 left to go in the first quarter, and it is 14-0 in favor of Lawndale.
Coach Shevlin from the Segundo Eagles, you know, he did talk about how the team, being how young they are, were too excited stepping into that Culver City game, perhaps costing them that game. And you can just see there where their excitement and their emotions is sort of interfering with their play on the field, having a couple personal foul penalties. You can see where it's costing them already now against this team. Can't do that against the Cardinals.
And that was a short field and a quick drive, 1:30 on the drive, and a 4-play, 42-yard drive made it 14-0, capped off by the 7-yard touchdown run. 4 carries and 2 touchdowns, not a bad average.
Definitely not.
Perez's kick is high, pooches this one to about the 35-yard line, and tackled immediately by Paolo Bailey is the Eagles return man. I believe that was number 25, Joey Gorte. So decent field position for Romero and the Eagles. See if they can take flight here.
You know what? They were moving the ball actually rather well their last drive before the interception that happened. Romero might have been a little bit too excited there. The more I watched that play, it seemed like it was out of reach of the receiver's hands. Did touch his fingertips though.
The first run, I believe. And yeah, things are chippy out there. I just saw Devin Rooney shove Tui Piloto out of the way, and that's not too smart. Watch this at the end of the play. Oh, that was number 58 that did that. Nick Huitron. So a 5-yard gain. And a bobble snap. Romero can't get his feet, and he's going to get buried. Albert Coughlin was there, and also Tui Piloto was there.
Oh boy, now you got to go ahead and get the basics down. Now it's starting to go ahead and get very ugly for the Eagles right now. Interception the first drive, and you're almost talking about a snap that almost went over your quarterback's head, but it did also lose them significant amount of yardage there. Now it's a 3rd and 12 against this Cardinals defense now. I think at this point, Coach Steve does need to go ahead and talk to his team before this game could get out of hand.
A loss of 6, so it'll be 3rd down and a long 11. Romero's back to pass and throws it short. It's complete, and it's not going to be a first down. It was completed to Danny McKenty. And a good defensive play to keep McKenty from getting the first down.
Good rollout. McKenty was not able to get there, couldn't stretch the ball long enough, getting tackled short of the first down.
Paolo Bailey made the tackle.
Looks like I think they're planning on going for it, Lou.
Well, like you say, before it gets out of hand.
Here we go.
4th down and 3.
Looks like they want to make the Cardinals jump. Going for the hard counts now. Yep, now they call the timeout.
That's right.
Charge timeout, El Segundo.
Travis Clark calling his Cardinals over.
The thing that gets me, though, is that if they're going to go for the punt all along, you know, why waste that timeout? You know, why waste that timeout? Just go ahead. If you want to move back 5 yards, then, you know, trust your punter to go ahead and kick it in their territory already if you're going to punt it. I feel like if you call a timeout in the situation now, then you're like, well, we just wasted a timeout. You might as well go for it. But that's just my perspective on how I see it as. I think that this is just a wasted timeout if you're going to punt all along.
Back up.
Coach Clark really animated about getting Jordan Wilmore out there with that open field.
But El Segundo's punter is their quarterback. So it could talk about trickery. This is a punt. It's a line drive. And Wilmore picks it up.
There he goes.
Inside the 15-yard line.
Unreal.
Gunn getting up to close to the 30-yard line. A flag gets thrown towards the 20-yard line. So we'll see what develops after a 20-some yard return by Jordan Wilmore.
A penalty during a return usually goes against the offensive side, the return team side.
It's going to be half the distance from there, okay?
But man, look at Jordan Wilmore.
What number again? During the run back, block in the back, return team number 27. That penalty is half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
Okay, so it'll be 1st and 10.
A lot of penalties already to start off this game, and we're, about 5 minutes away from being the end of the first quarter now. A lot of emotions out there. Big time game here where the Cardinals are in control early on as they get the ball back. But they are deep into their own territory, so we'll see if the Eagles defense can step up and make a stop here.
Pass is complete, and good tackle made on the open field on Anthony Williams III. But still a nice gain. Close to a first down. It was a 9-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 1.
Got to give Coach Clark some credit. He's making this offense just a big-time threat through the air, as we see good completion there. A quick pass to Anthony Williams, getting them some solid yardage, and now they only just need a yard for that first down, which they will. It's going to be a play action.
And El Segundo sniffed that one out, and it's going to be a sack.
It looked like there was some hesitation there, as we see. It looked like, I'm not sure if Jalen Hamler was hesitant to go ahead and give the ball, keep it, or run. Looked very indecisive there on that play.
So it's a loss of 2 as we look at the replay. Yeah.
Looked like he was already waiting to pass. He did not let the play action unfold. He was already stepping back to pass as Jordan Wilmore was barely running past by him. So a little bit too antsy there on that play for Jalen Hamler. Oh boy.
As the snap goes over Hamler's head, it's still loose, picked up by the Eagles. And it's a touchdown. Touchdown El Segundo on a botched snap. Jalen Hamler couldn't get it in. And just like that, the lead is cut in half. Almost in half, 14-6. Was it picked up by Alex Ron?
What a turn of events here. You see a snap just over the head. Late reaction from Jalen Hamler as well. Couldn't quite pick it up there. At that point, you should just slide on it. Don't worry about picking it up and making something happen out of it. You just want to make sure you slide on it, still have the ball in play, and give your defense an opportunity after a punt. But now that the Eagles capitalize, that's just what they needed, Lou.
Alex Ron. Yeah, something had to happen for El Segundo, that's for sure.
You got centers on both sides snapping the ball over their heads of each of their quarterbacks. Come on, Lou, why don't you go out there and show them how to snap the ball, right?
That's right. If I got down in that 4-point stance, I don't think I could get up. I'd have to roll over. Do a somersault and hope for the best.
There you go.
But at any rate, it's cut in half and we got ourselves a ball game again, as we see Jonathan Watson getting ready to the far side, Jordan Wilmore to his left, and that drive just looked didn't have a good look about it the whole time. I mean, we had the botched handoff, or the phantom handoff, and then the snap over Hamler's head.
It seemed very weird right now. It seemed very odd because they did get a great completion, about 8-9 yards on that first play. 2nd and 1, then you're like, okay, they're most likely going to pound Jordan Wilmore. He is going to get that first down, but they still passed on all 3 downs, and that was a little bit surprising there. I think they want to make sure they get the passing game going on so they can make this offense just, a big-time threat through the run and through the air. But off that second play that we talked about, Lou, about that phantom handoff there where Jalen Hamler looked like he was anticipating Jordan Wilmore to pass by him too early and was cocking back to pass already.
Under center of the power I, they'll hand off to Wilmore. Wilmore gets hit at the line of scrimmage, but still plows his way for about 4 yards.
Your offensive line is bigger than that front four, as we see here. They will be pushing that pocket, let alone how physical and how much power Jordan Wilmore has as a running back. He will give you 4, 5, 6 yards a carry as it is, which is why I expect the Cardinals to always, give them the ball in short yard situations when it's 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, because he will give you 4 or 5 yards a carry.
Man in motion is Ryan Wells. High snap again. This is a bootleg, a quarterback draw, and Hamler is treated very rudely by his guest. And that was Ben Rosas with a nice tackle.
Good anticipation from the defense. Already had a lineman in the backfield.
Or excuse me, that was Alex Ron.
He had a good swarm. And defensive end Alex Ron. Playing defensive end back in my time, ain't nothing felt better than having a clean hit on the quarterback, and you just want to make sure they feel your power, which Alex Ron sure did on poor Jalen Hamler.
Use that inertia.
Yes.
2:15 counting down in the first quarter. There you see it down at the bottom. Wilmore is in motion now. Hamler looks that way. Hamler gets out of trouble. Hamler throws, and it is caught by Wilmore.
Looked like they threw a flag before the play call, though. It might be an illegal formation from the Cardinals. They threw the flag immediately once the play started.
Okay, let's see what Jay Belshaw calls.
You got to kill that play. Call a false start. Now that's a killer. You got to kill it. You got your chains, they didn't move, right? Okay, we had a dead ball foul, encroachment on the offense. Okay, now, CW.
And that's C.W. Allen, so they're going to take the ball back 5 yards.
5 yards from the previous spot. Yeah.
Penalty on
C-Dub,
the offensive
we
side.
got to put some time on the clock because time ran off during that play and shouldn't have. Okay?
Okay, so now you're hearing.
So I would say put 8 seconds on the clock, okay? Make it 2:06.
We're getting a nice perspective tonight
That ball was a dead ball foul. The clock should not have started. So we're going to reset it to 2:06. 2:06, please.
But there's still a penalty
Still
on the
third
play.
down.
And thank you, Jay. He says still third down.
You know, we thought.
But they lost 5 yards, so it goes back to the 19.
Okay,
Sorry,
2:06.
Darius, go ahead.
Correct. Wait for the whistle now. Thank you. Okay, we're going to wind the clock.
And I thought you had it tough up here, Lou. Seems like our buddy out there is.
Yeah, they were expecting. They knew that tonight's game was going to be a loaded game. Hamler cutting across, and it's almost picked off. Kyle Freeman almost picked off. Jonathan Blackman was the intended receiver, and a terrific play by the El Segundo strong safety, the senior.
Boy, do I appreciate great defensive plays. Look at Kyle Freeman. Prior to the play, he was just following Jalen Hamler's eyes. Saw where he was going to Jonathan Blackman's direction. Almost an interception, making their defense a second turnover of the game. And that could have been a pick six there. And you're talking about 2 defensive touchdowns for the El Segundo Eagles.
I think Freeman might have been looking at zone. Look at that beautiful spiral kick that sends back Romero all the way to the 40-yard line. Picking his way through. Actually, that's not Romero this time. That's Danny McKenty, and he gets up to the 50-yard line after a 10-yard return. So El Segundo with good field position. They've had good field position all game long.
They sure have, and as we see here, good return by Danny McKenty. Being patient. He's a very patient returner, as what I like. Making some moves now. We avoided like about 4 or 5 Cardinals there, but the whole entire Cardinal special teams was just swarming him. Great swarm tackling by the Cardinals.
You can see right now down on the Cardinals sideline, they're practicing their snaps. Damian Gutierrez is practicing his shotgun snaps. Romero out of the shotgun, play action. Wanted to go in, a little bit of a hole, but didn't get called, and the ball was caught by Bonnie after Romero was shoved to the ground by Pinkston. So a gain on the play of 9 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Good job by Romero. Looks like he was going to commit to a run, but he was able to extend the play. Still look down the field. It's great vision of the field. Hitting Devin Booney. Getting them some solid yards on 1st down. Now they're at a second and 1. Second and
about 2, a long 1. But they're inside of Lawndale territory now. Romero taking his time. This time it's a handoff and got me in a stranglehold, baby. Tui Poloto. And boy, did he put the hammer on Darius Sason.
What a tackle by Tui Poloto. Excuse me. What a mean, absolute mean tackle as we see that great wrap-around, stopping them at the line of scrimmage. Woo.
There's a Warrior's eye right there.
I would definitely be in a fetal position if I see those eyes coming at me.
Here comes Sason again. He rumbles like a bull, tripping over the pasture and in further into Cardinal territory. That's good enough for a 1st down and a gain of about 6.
There's Darius Sason. You know what? Big physical back. Going against a physical defense, why not just try to out-physical them? And that's just what I like. That is football right there. You try to go ahead and overpower this team, and looks like the quarter is coming to an end, so they are prepping for the 2nd quarter and great field position, Lou.
All right, it's so far been a terrific ball game. Looked like it was going to get out of hand, but then the fumble on the botched snap was recovered in the end zone by Alex Ron. And so it's not out of hand right now, that's for sure. But Jordan Wilmore with a 27-yard touchdown run to open things up in the first drive to make it 7-0. Then on a nice drive, a 42-yard drive, after an interception by Stanley Livingstone, it was cashed in on a 7-yard run by Wilmore to make it 14-0. Then something that we really haven't seen, kind of a sputter on offense by the Lawndale Cardinals. And that's when the bad snap occurred. And then Alex Ron, then they see Wilmore on the first touchdown.
What an absolute
Boom,
beast
get
mode.
out of the way.
Does it remind you of a little version of a beast mode, the high school version of Marshawn Lynch, if you ask me, just trucking dudes, manhandling them all the way to the end zone.
Romero out of the shotgun, gives it to Saison again. Uh-oh, here comes the reverse. Ball given to McKenty, and McKenty is brought down, and it's a lot of running and a few yards.
Some trickery from Coach Shevlin. Great end around there. You see McKenty, he has great vision. I love how patient he runs, follows his blocks, giving him a very good gain on first down. And we got the Eagles almost knocking on the door on the Cardinals defense.
Down to the 28-yard line, Romero tucks the ball under and probably got enough for a first down. A good tackle by Terrence Simon Jr.
He definitely got enough for a first down. They are inside the 20. Look at Romero taking off. Jalen Hamler shows what he can do with his legs. Romero said, hey, look what I can do. Getting him that first down, and now the Eagles are for sure knocking on the door inside the red zone. And we'll see if they can capitalize here to tie up this ball game.
And that was a 12-yard run by Romero. And he has Saison to his left. He's going to follow Saison, but nope, that hole closes in a hurry. Led by Sione Tai. Just a baby, 291-pound junior.
I would like to know what he is eating. Poor mother probably going to the grocery stores multiple times a week as we see how big he is, disrupting that play.
I think his mom told me he ate the garage yesterday.
I heard
no game. I'm sorry. He's a good kid. Romero, is that a lateral or a throw? Passes it to an eligible lineman, Gunnar Rogers.
Gunnar Rogers probably never really gets the ball that much during the game at all, actually throughout the whole entire season, thinking that this is his big moment. But great way to sniff out the play by Paulu Bailey, ruining Gunnar Rogers' dream of getting that touchdown for an offensive lineman.
And a loss on the play of 1, so it's 3rd down and 11 out of the shotgun. Romero should have been tackled by the offense, but finally does get wrapped up, but a big hit by Tuli Peloto, and then was finished off and another 2-yard loss.
This front seven has been driven on throughout the whole entire game, but now this defensive line of the Cardinals had enough this drive, stopping them, and now holding the Eagles to a field goal at this point. Big time stop.
If you think Tuli was mean, Naki Fahina finished off Romero as another Warrior, is getting ready to try the field goal attempt is Villalobos, and it is long enough, and it is no good. So the field goal attempt was 37 yards, and the ball will be turned over at the 20-yard line.
20-yard line.
To the Cardinals.
That's to be upsetting a drive. That showed a lot of promise after a good defensive stop there for the Eagles defense. Might think that they can potentially tie this game up. Then resulting to a field goal where they missed the field goal. And now here comes this Cardinals offense where I have sort of seen them shy away from Jordan Wilmore. But after the way the last 2 series have gone, Lou, I think that they're probably going to start giving their playmaker the ball this drive.
Might be time to show El Segundo the woodshed before the half. 8:52 left to go. Or maybe they'll eat. Well, let's see what they have in mind. They can do anything.
Oh, they really can.
Wilmore gets the ball. Right up the belly and doing a little bit of tenderizing. Good job by El Segundo stopping him for a 2-yard gain.
It's a good football match right here. You got offensive line from both sides matching up against, well, I got to give credit because you could just see there where El Segundo, they're physically smaller than Lawndale's side on the defensive side compared to Lawndale's offensive line. And they're not making Jordan Wilmore after that 27-yard touchdown run. They've held him to his breakaway runs, holding him to 3, 4, 5, 6-yard gains.
This El Segundo team has a lot of heart, that's for sure. Hamler over the middle has a man open, and a big catch by Albert Cobbin, a 5'9" senior, and it's good to see the senior get some time in there. So the ball is brought up to the 44-yard line.
You see great play action pass. Jalen Hamler getting his feet set, stepping up into the pocket, making a nice throw to Albert Cobbin. You saw a little quick speed that we see there. Right in the middle of the field, getting them a good gain. First down now with a good completion with the passing game opening up. Now we're pretty sure El Segundo is going to start backing up that secondary, and this is where their running game could be lethal at this point for the Cardinals.
Trips to the right, to the near side. Receivers. The ball is handed off to Wilmore. Wilmore makes a side step. Still going. Still on his feet at the 40 and gets shoved out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Or we'll see where they say it's a little bit sooner than that, right around the 46-yard line.
What a run there. Jordan Wilmore bouncing outside. Great vision. Boys are low to take down, so the only thing that's going to stop him is a sideline, which did stop him off that run. Giving him the first down, though, and they got a fresh set of downs for the Cardinals.
This is out of the eye. Shotgun eye. Ball is handed off to Wilmore. Wilmore gets airborne and gets just inside the 40-yard line.
Good run there by Jordan Wilmore. Got a little up in the air there. Nice wraparound tackle by Tim Shorts. Shorts, that is, for the Eagles.
Tim is going to be a tired young man.
Put him in with the fullback. Him and Nate go. 20 turn.
Out of the shotgun, Wilmore to Hamler's left. Straight handoff to Wilmore, and he does a dive. And it's going to be a big third down play after only about a yard gain.
Jordan Wilmore, great way to plug up the line from the Eagles front four, excuse me. Wilmore tried to create something to happen, create his own lane by hopping over the line.
Alex Ron was the hurdle.
Alex Ron making some great plays right here in the first half.
Yeah, he's got a touchdown, defensive touchdown. Traditional eye with the fullback in there, Terrence Simon. Well, that's Terrence Simon there. Big old Terrence Simon bowls his way for a first down. Nate Davis was the fullback on that play. Down to about the 43-yard line.
We thought Jordan Wilmore is tough to take down. Check out this big ends. Terrence Simon getting physical, and he will go forward. He does not care about the finesse move. All he wants to do is just pound you, truck you. And poor Danny McKenty there being a victim of Terrence Simon, giving the Cardinals a fresh set of downs there. And Coach Clark wants to go with this physical game right now, looks like he might be seeing some vulnerability from the Eagles side.
Out of the eye again. Back to passes Hamler. Still stays in the pocket, and it's picked off by El Segundo. Tyler Villalobos. Villalobos comes up, and oh man, he got smacked. And there's a penalty. So Villalobos gets up and sprints off the field after the second interception of the game, or second turnover of the game by El Segundo. So it appears that the penalty may go on El Segundo.
Jalen Hamler looked a little bit happy feet as he was making that throw. Very short pass.
During the return, after the interception, holding return team number 4. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll be first down, El Segundo.
So from the spot of the foul, which is they're going to call that.
Foul was on number 4.
The spot of the foul was about the 37-yard line, so it goes back, or the 27, excuse me, so it goes back to the 17. So if you want to call that the silver lining.
Despite the penalty, I'm sure the Eagles are glad to get the ball back at this point. The Cardinals were pulling off a very, very good drive there, and Jalen Hamler tried making that throw, but he just seemed his feet were unsettled making that throw, very short of the ball, giving Tyler Villalobos the opportunity to pick off the ball. Great interception. Now we got to see if this Eagles offense can finish off what they started last drive, which is get into the end zone.
From the 17-yard line out of the shotgun, Romero has a man open and gets enough for the first down, but Simon makes him pay for it. Kind of plugged him into the grass there.
So one thing receivers, you know, you always look for the ball, but every time when you come across the middle, you can't help but think, oh boy, who is waiting for me? And unfortunate there.
1, 2, ouch.
He had Terrence Simon waiting for him. But he was able to hold on to the ball, so good for him getting the first down for the Eagles.
That was Devin Bonney with the 11-yard catch. But that was a high price. Ball is handed off to Saison, and he grabs a few yards. 5 yards to be exact. So it'll be second down and 5.
Got Saison going straight to Terrence Simon. What a collision there. The two worlds collide, if you ask me. We got Terrence Simon. He's actually having a heavy workload at this point, being the quarterback of the defense, let alone this last drive on the offensive side for the Cardinals, was running the ball pretty well. Seen a lot of Terrence Simon right now the past couple of plays.
Romero going to be under center out of the power I. 2 receivers to the near side. And a draw play right up the middle. So El Segundo showing their power. And a gain of about 4 yards.
Giving him that first down. Something that we're not used to seeing, Lou, teams going after this front 7 of the Cardinals and succeeding. You know, we're used to seeing this Cardinals front 7 overpowering opposing offenses. Not El Segundo. El Segundo, you know what? There's a reason why they're 6-1 stepping into this game.
The 36-yard line. Out of the traditional power I again. So Steve Shevlin, the coach of the Eagles, saying, no, none of this fancy stuff. We're just going to go power I here for a while.
Seems like they want to drain this clock if you're asking me.
Romero with a long pass has a man not quite open, and overthrown is Ty Balogun. But good coverage. It's either Taj Balogun or Moses Ali, because Taj has been hurt. They're both about 6'3", 6'4", so really can't tell who is which. But I don't know.
I think that's Taj, because Moses, he's 230 and Taj is 205, and I think I see a 205 on that receiver.
So it's second down and 10. Good catch there. I just went to the size. I didn't go further to the weight. And Romero keeps it and is pounded into the yard marker. Bailey there was one of the linebackers there to shove him out.
Nothing there. Good coverage from the Cardinals defense. Romero tried to make something happen, but there's nothing there. They were watching him rolling out.
Also, Tuli Peloto was there as well, going after Romero like he was the last hamburger on the plate.
Sometimes with these high school kids, when they see that last burger on the plate, they become vicious.
Lightning. So it's 3rd down and 11 and a timeout taken. Maybe it's because I smell a grill somewhere firing up around here.
Ah, come on, Lou. I thought you were on a diet.
I am. It's that old seafood diet. You see it, you eat it.
I guess we're waiting, what, to New Year's, right? Your New Year's resolution?
That bus left a long time ago, little brother.
You're making me looking forward to get to where you're at right now.
Oh, boy. So in this timeout, the defense, they're in their set. So what is Steve Sutherland telling his offense?
You know, I think obviously they want to play very smart right now. We got about 3 minutes left here in the first half, so you don't want to obviously create any mistakes giving the Cardinals the ball. So if worse comes to worse, they can punt the ball in deep into their own territory, the Cardinals.
Romero back to pass, and that was almost picked off. But also, Tui Peloto was in on Romero's back just as he threw the ball. Watch this. Here comes Tui Peloto.
Romero just getting the ball off in time, but look at Terrence Simon. I think he noticed the ball a little bit too late, but was still trying to go for that hit, but a really good hit delivered too by Johnson. Josiah Johnson making that really good hit there, forcing the Eagles to punt.
Punts, gets a nice hop to Wilmore at about the 20-yard line. Wilmore finds a hole. Wilmore runs one man. Look out at midfield. Jordan Wilmore, one man to beat, and is pushed out of bounds. But we do have a flag back at the 40-yard line of El Segundo after almost a 60-yard return by Jordan Wilmore. So usually these flags.
I want to give it fall on the ground. On red. Okay.
This will be against the Cardinals, looks like.
And that's a shame because what a run back by Jordan Wilmore.
That's the only way you're going to stop Jordan Wilmore, right?
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Sideline interference. Official ran into someone on the sideline. That penalty is 15 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll be first down.
Yikes.
Oh, what a big turn of events there. Wow, as we see Jordan Wilmore, this is going to take away such a great return from a great guy from Jordan Wilmore. Look at this. Finding the hole, hitting it very hard. And you can just see where he was looking at the end zone.
Okay, Cal. Bring him down.
Unfortunately, called back due to sideline interference. And, you know, that's what happens. This tends to happen that people, coaches or players, they might get too excited, and as a big play might happen, they lean towards the field, and when a referee is trying to follow the play along, you know, as they collide, they can perhaps collide running into the referee, and that is a penalty there. Coach Clark must tell his teammates and his staff to go push back, get behind the line. I remember back in my days playing in high school, we had a specific line drawn for us players just so we could go ahead and avoid penalties like this.
So it's 1st and 10 for Lawndale at their own 27-yard line.
What a big break for the El Segundo Eagles, too. You're talking about, oh boy, now they have plenty of time to get into the end zone there. Now your defense in a more comfortable position now.
What is that, the second or third unsportsmanlike conduct call on Lawndale? So they are their own worst enemies right now. On a keeper by Hamler, he just dances his way up, still on his feet, gets out of a tackle, breaks another tackle, goes to the other side, and another flag on the field, and so is an Eagle. Getting up is Ben Rosas, one of the starters, but let's see what this flag is after another terrific run. Holding on Lawndale.
Get the ball, bring the ball in.
Going to erase the run and erase the
I'm going to talk in
first
the way
down.
I want. Don't talk back.
The fans are not happy up here.
Go, mark off.
Cardinals fans are not happy. Big time plays being called back. You got Jalen Hamler pulling off his inner Jordan Wilmore, I shall say, with the great quarterback keeper here. It was the design keeper there. He's the center making the holding right there, blocking the back. Yep, right at the line of scrimmage. And an official getting in the way there. Got Jalen Hamler breaking a tackle from the official. For multiple Eagles, unfortunately, is called back.
Out of the shotgun. As a man wide open, it's Wilmore at the 35, and he is gone into the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals.
Another penalty on the play, Lou.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Another holding call. Wow.
This is absolutely ridiculous right now at this point.
That's brutal, just brutal. So a long first down and a touchdown called back. So Wilmore has run.
Holding, offense, number 55. Penalty is 10 yards, go first down.
Wilmore had that 60-yard return, and this pass, which is about 70 yards. So they were all nullified by penalties.
My thing is, how did Jordan Wilmore, of all players on the offensive side, get so wide open? Out of all players to be extremely wide open, would they not take their eye off of the most important player out there on the field? But it's just amazing right now. You got the Cardinals right now. They're shooting themselves in the foot. You know, you're talking about the only touchdown that the Eagles scored was off of a botched snap from the Cardinals. All these drives have been stalled off of penalties. This is something that we're not really used to seeing here on Lawndale's side. You know, they always very smart. They play fundamental football. Now a lot of penalties that's costing them, you know, having this game being extremely close right now. Luckily, they have the lead right here, Lou. Luckily, they have the lead.
That's true.
We'll go ahead and see. You can see where the penalty is. Oh, boy.
Right there.
You can just see where 55.
That's a wrestling move.
Referee taking a hard look at that right in front of his face. He's just throwing him down, grabbing his jersey, yanking him, throwing him down. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's costing you your team. It's something that it looked like he didn't even need to do at this point as well. You know, he did not need to make that penalty.
Not with Wilmore that wide open. I think I saw out of the corner of one of the replays that where Wilmore put a fake on the defensive back. And Hamler again. Hamler just right up the middle. Hamler is going to try to get a block and does. Outruns everybody and gets a first down near midfield.
I'm checking for flags. If there's anything. Nope, we're good. First down for the Cardinals. Oh, what a great run from Jalen Hamler now. As we see him taking it up the middle. Good vision.
So that was a 1st and 21. Up to the 50-yard line, a 26-yard run. Hamler goes down the sideline. Wilmore is wide open again! Touchdown, Cardinals! And this time getting the burn is James Amaro. But a 50-yard catch and run. Hamler to Wilmore, and it's 20-7 Cardinals.
They're just not stopping that play, looks like. They went back to the same two plays that we saw that were called back, you know, with an empty set quarterback keeper, and then with this play by Jordan Wilmore, running a streak, getting not necessarily wide open as he was last time, but still enough space to go ahead and burn the defender. Big time touchdown before halftime.
And Perez tacks on the extra point with 1:52 left to go in the first half. 21-7. Lawndale finally overcomes El Segundo and themselves to get the touchdown.
Definitely, they're battling two opponents, which are the Eagles and also themselves. Great way to say it, Lou. Also for El Segundo's side, on the defensive side, looks like they have not figured out the empty backfield formation, because you're talking about Cardinals. They're getting big play after big play after big play after big play. Fortunately for the Eagles, for the time being, penalties were being called back, but it's just a point where they got to figure something out against that formation that the Cardinals are throwing out there. Maybe they're just too used to the Cardinals with Jordan Wilmore being in the backfield that they're not used to him lining up at wide receiver.
Well, Wilmore has the hat trick as far as touchdowns. That's his third touchdown. So just another day at the office. Ken Pinkston, that's number 55, but look at this.
What a late reaction. That was a late reaction, as we saw from James Amaral of El Segundo's side. Jordan Wilmore just running right past by him, getting wide open.
He hasn't even broken a sweat yet.
Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. I don't even see a grass stain on his jersey.
He better just roll around at halftime in the grass.
Exactly. Otherwise.
Lawndale showing why they're 7-0, 2-0 in the tough Ocean League.
Definitely making a claim tonight, Lou.
Axel Perez going to kick the ball off. Receiving the ball is McEntee. McEntee gets it at about the 17. And goes into the pile at around the 30-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for El Segundo with 1:46 left to go in the first half.
Coach Steve for the Eagles talked about how he wants to get this offense going. A little quick 3 steps, drop back, send fire, get the offense moving. And at this point now, you're talking about just under 2 minutes left, 1:46 left here. They can go ahead and get some type of score before halftime, and they do get the ball to start the second half. A score right here would be very, very ideal and much needed for the Eagles.
So is that a timeout? El Segundo has 1 left, and Lawndale has 2 left.
Dead ball, delay a game, illegal equipment. 5-yard penalty. Move it back 5 yards. You have to go out. You got in your knee pads.
Okay, so there you go. Taj Balogun didn't have his knee pad tucked away. So it goes back to the 26-yard line. Romero back to hand off the ball. And spinning out of a tackle is Darius Sason and gets the 5 yards back.
A little trickery there, going up the middle. Sason has been running the ball pretty well this half.
Romero, and just out of the reach. There is an unsportsmanlike conduct there. A late hit. Going to be called on, I believe that's Bailey. Or is that Mikael Esteen? Anyway, that was on Devin Bonney. The pass was out of his reach.
See drop play here. Oh, yeah, you could just see that was a little bit unnecessary. Mikael Esteen, he did see the ball drop. He reacted to the ball dropping, hitting the ground, and he still.
Coaches don't like it.
It was, I'm always 50-50 when it comes to penalties, but if I see a good call, that is a good call right there.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 10, charging into a defenseless player. Penalty is 15 yards, first down. Incomplete pass, previous spot.
I think he
This
meant
is Paolo Bailey committed the foul, so it goes up 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage, so it goes to the 45. So another big penalty, another 15-yarder, and this play is whistled dead.
Oh boy, a lot of penalties this half.
And a lot of them going on Lawndale.
Prior to the snap.
Offside on El Segundo, so maybe somebody lined up to offside.
Prior to the snap, encroachment offense, number 16, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So it goes back to the 40 where it'll be 1st and 15. See if anybody's lined up offside. Had to be. I don't see. Well, maybe it's the receiver here at the bottom. That flag came up pretty late, though.
I don't know. I couldn't see it right there,
Romero tucks it in and runs into Pinkston, and we have another flag. It was a 5-yard gain, and Keon Pinkston made the hit, so let's see what the penalty's on. So Pinkston's talking to Belshaw.
Okay, from here, 10 yards back from here.
So do we have a hold on El
Offense,
Segundo?
number 67. Penalty is 10 yards. It remains first down.
Justin Delgado committed a hold, so it goes back to the 30. So now it'll be 1st and a whole bunch.
It's unfortunate that the amount of penalty that's happening right now in this half sort of taken away the excitement from this game. There's been a lot of good plays that's happening so far, but it's just been drenched with penalties.
Romero had a man open. Now Romero has to run, and oh my goodness, Pinkston with a big hit to straighten him up. And then finally belted out of bounds. But Keon Pinkston is a wrecking crew out there.
Keon Pinkston, I know he saw red right there. He was looking at red, but he forgot one thing, which is to wrap around.
Ouch.
You want to wrap around. Looks like he was just aiming forward, wanting to destroy Romero. But if he got to fundamentals, wanting to wrap around, trust me, him being big enough, he would have been able to feel the pain. Oh boy.
Yeah. So we have another penalty. This is on El Segundo. But the size difference.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 58. It remains second down.
Okay, let's watch this on the replay where the right tackle made the foul right there. Number 58, that's Nick Huitron to the 27-yard line. And the ball is handed off. And Lawndale's going to call timeout, or at least Travis is trying to get a timeout called finally after about 8 seconds ran off the clock. Do they get it? The Lawndale Cardinals get a timeout? He wants the ball back.
Going with the draw. Trying to look like they're running out the clock to end this half, what seemed to be an ugly ending to a half. You can just see where the Eagles are trying to do that, and Coach Clark wanting to go ahead and perhaps give the ball to Jordan Wilmore, who is his punt return to the ball, probably one more time to see what he can do with this and open this game up significantly coming into halftime. So I agree, good call from Coach Clark. But man, these penalties definitely prolonging this half, and you can see where both sides are getting a little bit more impatient and more antsy at this point.
I'll tell you what, though, Darius, Keon Pinkston, number 5, a junior, 6'3", 265 pounds, is just a beast out there. I mean, we thought that Terrence Simon was the beast, but man, oh man. Keon is playing left guard right now, or left guard, and he is just a beast. Romero gets up to the original line of scrimmage, spins into Lawndale territory, but still not a first down, but it's in 4-down territory for El Segundo, so I'd imagine they're going to go for it.
Very exciting play from Romero. Couldn't find nothing downfield, deciding to go ahead and use his athletic ability, shaking off a couple tackles. As you see there, Terrence Simon being all over the field. And going back to what you said about Keon Pinkston and his size, Terrence Simon his size, the size of that front seven, I heard that they brought in a whole cow for a team meal earlier today.
So no time left in the half. This is the last play, so it's a Hail Mary, and it looks like Nikhil Esteen might have intercepted the ball. And that's going to end a wild first half, where the officials better get their shoulders checked for rotator cuff.
Let Nikhil Esteen.
It made the pick.
Nikhil Esteen able to get up there, securing the pick. Way to pat the stats there. Look like the officials have been the star of the show so far, if you ask me, with the amount of time that they are throwing that flag. I think they have more passing yards than both quarterbacks combined when it comes to counting the yards how far they're throwing these penalty flags there, Lou.
And that's true. Let's see if we're going to get an interview or two. It looks like Steve Shevlin was there waiting for Tolly Anderson. And Sebastian Spencer is talking to one of the assistant coaches. So I don't believe we're going to have an interview. And why don't we take a quick timeout, and we'll go back and we'll come back and for some halftime festivities right here on City TV.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship Yukon Huskies basketball team, and you're losing your Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper, good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Back here at the Cardinals' nest is homecoming night. There you see some beautiful old Thunderbirds, and the Cardinal is escorting some of the prospective queens in the court. Talk about the athletic shoes. Look at the girls' shoes. Got to be the shoes. Now that can't be a mom and a daughter. Those are two sisters, I'll bet you. And another prospective homecoming king coming up. Nice crowd on hand tonight. Both sides, Lawndale and El Segundo. And those must be the moms. Doing the parade wave. You gotta have the parade wave going. Always a fun night. Then, of course, the dance. And there is your homecoming court. Here comes some more of the court.
is also the boys soccer team, Lake School, and Mecca. Outside of school, he has to play show soccer. After high school, he would like to work in a youth environment and major business. And with his mentor by his friend, Evan Figueroa. It's recommended by Mr. Kemp. He is an avid representative and president of the class of 2020. Outside of school, he sings in church choir, volunteers with CYC, and babysits the 9-year-old on school council and is recommended by Ms. Farr. He is on the boys volleyball team, part of the team base. Everything is K-Pop in class of 2020, vice president. It is 3 times he volunteers.
Well, that's it for the homecoming. We'll be right back after this.
Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
All right, congratulations to Malia Bustamante. She is this year's homecoming queen. And let's go down to Tolly Anderson.
I spoke with Coach Steve Shevlin at half and asked how his defense is going to stop the run and contain Jordan Wilmore. He said Jordan Wilmore has been a standout tonight. He's definitely got a lot of speed, but still believes these guys will come out in the second half and still defeat and win. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Tolly. And let's go over some stats really quick for El Segundo. For Darius Saison, the running back for the Eagles, he has 6 carries, 26 yards. And Romero, the quarterback, Matthew Romero, is 3 out of 6, 19 yards and 2 interceptions passing, and 8 carries and 46 yards on running the ball. And Darius, the offense and defense for the Cardinals has yet to get going. A lot of penalties. They have 8 penalties for 110 yards. But on the offensive side, let's take a look at Jordan Wilmore and see what he's done tonight so far on running and catching the ball.
Yeah, look at Wilmore, beast mode, high school version, I call him, using his receiving abilities as well, being a versatile running back, and that he's a complete package. A very physical running back, also uses finesse moves, getting wide open on the receiving end. Jordan Wilmore, he is the guy, and is it a surprise at this point to, it's just, at this point it's adding the cherry on top. It's just, we just keep on continuing to parade Jordan Wilmore because he continues to put on a beautiful show.
And how about the defense tonight? Let's take a look at them. They've been all over the place, and a couple of stars. We're going to start off with Terrence Simon. They're plowing under the running back. And there's a swarm right here.
I like Terrence Simon. Look at him getting physical with Sason, running back of the Eagles side.
What about that hit? That hit by Bailey on a lineman, Gunnar Rogers. And then here's Romero has been had his lunch handed to him by a lot of people as we got Thule, Fahina, and Christopher Williams. But what about the beast there?
Terrence Simon, he's been an absolute man that whole entire first half. I saw him flying all over the field, making tackles on the quarterback, on the running back, on the receivers, even working on the offensive side as well.
And let's go down to Sebastian.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I talked to Coach Clark coming out the half. He said we need to cut down on mistakes and make sure we get these guys off the field on our third downs. He also talked about making sure Jalen Hamler is taking care of the ball. He said he's our quarterback, and we need him to deliver for us in the second half. He also talked about Jordan Wilmore having a really good game so far, but he feels like they can bust this game wide open. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Sebastian. And Darius has some news from out of town.
Can you bring this back? Okay, we got some Culver City update, actually. They're up 47-0 over Hawthorne, and it's the end of the first half. They're 47-0, Lou. That is an absolute demolishing right there. Also taking over to Lusinger up 20-0 over Torrance right now at halftime as well. Lusinger started off the season very slow, but they've been picking it up. They've been picking it up once midseason hit.
It sure has. There you see Anthony Stubbs getting ready for the kickoff by Axel Perez. See if we can quickly get some numbers in here on Jordan Wilmore. Not Wilmore-like, 8 carries, 66 yards, but he does have 2 touchdowns on the ground. And as far as receiving, 2 receptions, 62 yards for a touchdown. Jalen Hammer, 7 out of 9 for 120 yards, with a touchdown and an interception. So Jalen's having a really good game tonight.
Yeah, he sure is, actually. They definitely got the passing game going on pretty early and pretty well. And making this offense, got to stop him with the passing on the ground, which for the most part, actually, El Segundo has been able to stop him. And I feel like that's also been credited to the amount of penalties that the Cardinals have allowed themselves to create. But Eagles offense coming out here, they must score on this drive if you ask me, because I think Cardinals will clean up their act in the second half.
They're a good second half team, that's for sure. And the ball is handed off by Romero right away. And nothing doing. As that was McKenzie getting the ball. Couldn't find any room anywhere.
Sione Tai, once again, making another play out there. He's also been all over the field as well. We've seen him and Terrence Simon making big-time plays for that Cardinals defense. Second and long here.
Man in motion is Saison. Play action, roll out to the left. Throw in the flat is caught. Oh my goodness, is Bonnie Belton. That was by Mikel Esteen, but still the first down. And that's about the second or third thrashing that Bonnie has taken.
Good football hit from Mikel Esteen, but more credited to Devin Bonnie getting that first down and maintaining possession of the ball, moving him the sticks. Everybody's going to go ahead and react to the hit created by Mikel Esteen, but if you look really deep into it, Devin Bonnie holding on to the ball, moving the sticks for the Eagles.
15 yards on the play. And the ball is not handed off. Look out, Thule misses, but another Cardinal doesn't on the sack. Thule Popo, and then there's Naki Fahina. Tui Paloto, excuse me.
And some of these last names could get a little confusing, but we see here, play action, try to roll out. What a way to sniff the play by Tuli Tuipulotu. Plutu, excuse me. It's not the easy name. Tuipulotu. Able to sniff that play out, stopping them.
Ball is handed off to Saison. Saison gets the lost yardage back and then some. Close to a first down. So that's Saison's best run of the day. Up to about the 47-yard line.
Saison has been running the ball. Look at him. Going up against, head up against Terrence Simon. Driving Terrence Simon on the back pedal. What a solid game there.
14 yards on the play. Handed off again to Saison. But he gets piled on. And I noticed that Robert Fajita was replaced by Keon Pinkston. And Pinkston is coming up off the bottom of the pile. Also in there is Fahina. So they're going to give a loss of a yard, and it's fourth down and about 4.
Naki Fahina finishing the play, wrapping it up. Not the ideal start to the second half for the Eagles, though. Couldn't really get the passing game going on after a good completion to Devin Bonney as well.
A punt off the shin.
Oh boy.
Of Romero, and that goes out of bounds. Wilmore was set to go at his own 15, but we'll see where the ball is placed. They're going to place it at the 40-yard line for the Cardinals.
Look like the Cardinals, for the most part, Coach Clark, very good coach right here. You know, he cleaned up. I expected him to go ahead and clean up the act during halftime, making sure this team settles down. Less penalties. I expect to see less penalties. This is a really, really good second half team, and I mean, all credit to Coach Clark for making sure they turn it up a notch in the second half to pull out of these games, which is why a lot of these games that they're in always end up being one-sided, because in the second half they just pull away, and they're in position to go ahead and do that right now.
Man in motion is Wells. The ball is handed off to Wilmore, spins out of a tackle, now starts to outrun everybody. Jukes one man, has to go around it, and down the field he goes. And into the end zone, touchdown Wilmore, his 4th touchdown Cardinals. Talk about your adjustments.
Speechless at this point. Look at the toss to Jordan Wilmore, cutting all the way back in the field. Great spin move right there.
Alex Ron with a rare miss.
Cutting back, and look at that breakaway speed. You're not going to catch him once he hits the open field, cutting back into the field.
Mercy.
The boy is special. The young man is special. Look at that smile on his face. Scoring touchdown number 4. Now this is starting to look like a usual Jordan Wilmore game, you know, where 1, 2, 3 touchdowns, you're like, okay, when is he going to get to that 4, 5, 6 range? And, well, he's getting his 4th touchdown here, and the second half just begun, Lou, and he's not done, if you ask me.
Perez with the high kick, and it is good. So with 8:32 left to go in the third quarter, it is 28-7 in favor of the Cardinals. One play, 60 yards.
Part of them being such a good second half team is obviously finishing off with Jordan Wilmore, getting that running game going. When you have a solid running game, especially in the second half, that's going to wear and tear against the defense, especially prolonging the game. They're beat up. The game is wearing down on them. And this is why they pull away right here. A 28-7 lead. El Segundo, they have their hands full, and at this point now, every single offensive possession is important, and they must score. They must score in any single offensive possession, which they have not scored an offensive touchdown because their only touchdown came from a botched snap from the Cardinals.
That's right. Perez with the kick, and that's going to go into the end zone, but the Cardinals were offside, so Axel is going to have to grease it up 5 yards back.
I knew it was too good to be true. I was expecting to see the officials sooner or later, the way how the first half went.
Like I said, they're going to have to go to a surgeon, an orthopedic surgeon, to get their shoulders checked out. But if you were paying attention, Jordan Wilmore had 66 yards in the first half, and he just about doubled it on one play here in the second half on a 60-yard run. There you see the offside. Right in the middle.
A little too antsy there. He must wait for the kicker to kick off.
And Lawndale is in first place, 2-0 in league. El Segundo 1-1, tied with Culver City and Santa Monica and Hawthorne coming into the game. But Lawndale, though, you heard the praise that Steve Shevlin, the head coach of the Eagles, had, and this one's going to go maybe picked up by Kyle Freeman. Freeman gets buried. You can hear that plastic smack all the way up here. Check it, that was McKenzie. But Shevlin was telling us before the ball game that he puts Lawndale right up there with Narbonne and Sarah.
they're definitely up there, if you ask me, just the way how they've been playing against their competition that's been presented right in front of them throughout the whole entire year.
There she is. Hey, Malia. Malia Bustamante, our 2017-18 homecoming queen. Pass is out of bounds, but it was completed to Michael Gonzalez. So it was a 5-yard gain, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Look at this rollout. I think that they, at this point now, the running game, it has not been able to get going. They've had some success, but the way how this game is going, they're down 28-7. They have not scored an offensive touchdown. They got to start actually going towards the passing game, if you ask me. But
and then they go back to the running game, and McKenty is beat up for another loss. And there's Fahina getting off the bottom of the pile. Tuli Tuipulotu also in there as well. The Warriors.
As soon as I said, they should start going for start aiming for the passing game, they go back to the run, and you can just see where the defensive line, they've gathered themselves, and they're just completely dominating that offense in front of the Eagles right now.
Mr. Pinkston was in there too. Romero is drugged down and buried by Pinkston. Keon Pinkston is having a whale of a game tonight.
What an absolute mean tackle. Ain't nothing better when you're a defensive lineman grabbing your hands on that quarterback, Keon Pinkston. As we see here, grabbing him with just one arm, wrapping him around, gobbling it up. Look like he just had his dinner right now, if you ask me.
Keon Pinkston. Don't let that baby's face fool you. Now they're going to measure this one. It should be whether the ball is spotted. It was at the 20-yard line to start with, so it doesn't appear close, but it's been a wacky game.
It sure has actually. A lot of officials calls we see here. Another one where we go to the officials making this call.
Let's go down to Tolly.
Thanks, I have homecoming queen Malia here. She's turned into an instant celebrity in the stands. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very overwhelmed, very excited. This is my first time doing something like this, so it's very exciting. I'm very happy.
Homecoming is this weekend. What plans do you have?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to get ready with my friends to go to the dance, and it's going to be held here in the cafeteria, so yeah, in our new building. It should be fun.
Have tons of fun.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tolly. Always good to see the homecoming queen.
It's not. You see here back in this replay, Danny McKenty just getting swarmed up by this defense. Nothing new here. Being
that was
Messer
Simon and Fahina. Second down and 2, I should say, after the gain of 8. Play action over the middle, and it's caught over on the far sideline. And McKenty again is hit hard by McKeel Esteen. But that's a first down. First catch of the game for McKenty. So it'll be 1st and 10. From the 48-yard line. A sweep, and McKenty gets wrapped up by Fahina. And even after the man is down, more red shirts are going after the ball carrier.
Swarm football is what I call it. Coach Clark has his boys playing lights out. He's truly invested in this defense, and McKenty thinking about trying to cut up field, but what we see here is Naki Fahina waiting for him, and that's something you rarely see on this defense, on this Lawndale defense, is a player trying to cut back and take it the other way because they have players ready for you, as what we just saw there with Fahina. McKenty just fell into his arms.
Second down and 14 out of the shotgun. Romero. And that was almost picked off by the safety, Stanley Livingstone.
Romero, dangerous throw there. Just trying to squeeze it in the hole, and the ball sailed on him a little bit too much. And the wind is on his back too, so that might have dragged it a little bit and almost landing into Stanley Livingstone's hands. Almost giving him his second interception of the game, and imagine that. You know, that's something that you'll definitely boast about, especially at the age. Trust me, I know how the defensive backs are in high school. When they grab 2 interceptions in the game, you will hear about it for a whole entire month.
Hey, why not? Out of the eye. Look out! Here comes Simon, and oh my goodness!
It's gonna be a low hit.
Oh man!
It's gonna be a low hit. Romero's feeling it. Hopefully he can get up from it. He's just got to shake it off. He's gonna shake it off.
Bailey.
Good.
It's gonna be on Bailey. But Simon came in there and flushed Romero out of the pocket. And Matthew Romero, such a big.
Hitting low at the knees.
Yep, it's exactly what they're
spot, 15 yards, first down.
It's exactly what I anticipated. We see here. It looked like, if it was higher, it was going to be a clean hit, but.
Spot.
Do it again. We'll do it again. Don't worry about it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, hitting below the knees. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now the coaching staff isn't too happy about it, but
they should know. We've seen it pretty much more emphasized, in the higher levels of football, more so, especially in the NFL. I call it the Tom Brady rule. Ever since he went down with that knee injury back in 2008, they just emphasize about low hits on quarterbacks at this point. And it's definitely descended off down to college and then now high school, where if you do hit low on the quarterback, it's going to be called no matter what level you are. That's going to be a penalty. Whether you disagree with it, it's just part of the rules. It's for the protection of the quarterbacks.
I agree with that. After a high snap, gives off to Saison. He slips a couple of tackles and gets maybe 5 yards out of it. But it did appear on the after we saw the replay that Romero tried to hurdle Bailey.
It looked like he jumped into it and he just set it up and made it look like it was a low hit. I did see where it looked like it was almost a jump pass there.
Right.
The ball, once again, almost snapped over his head. That's happened a couple of times already this game. Luckily there, it didn't cost him.
Out of the shotgun, a new running back. That's Armand Saison. And he may have gotten the first down. And he may be related to Darius Saison. And he does get a first down.
It's a unique last name there, as we see Armand's shaking up there, holding that shoulder there. You're not sure if it could be popped it out.
Well, let's hope it's just a stinger.
Or perhaps a stinger, but I do see him. He was able to take his helmet off with both hands.
Romero still running hard, throws it on the run, and incomplete. He's just running for his life out there.
Yeah, you can see where he's not able to sit in the pocket, so they're going to be designing these rollout plays for Romero, as we keep seeing here. A design rollout, having an extra blocker out there in Saison, and making the rollout to your left side for a right-handed quarterback is very tough to make.
It's tough, but he can do it. We've seen him do it, but it's kind of tough when you have Fahina and Simon in your face.
The amount of hits he's taken by those young men, I'm pretty sure now he's just having flashes of them coming at them when they're not even near him.
He's going to see Cardinals with fangs in his teeth in his sleep tonight. Fahina with another stop on McKenty. And it's going to be third down and about 7 after the 3-yard gain by McKenty.
Taking the handoff, McKenty.
That was Bailey on the hit.
Paulo Bailey wrapping up, making a nice tackle there. Paulo, who's also been everybody in that front seven. I mean, I'm a defensive guy, and I would just give every single one of them the game ball at this point, the way how this front seven has been playing.
Yeah, they sure have. They just disrupted the Eagles all night long. Finally, some time for Romero, who really fires a dart. And let's see if McKeel Esteen has given the interception. I don't think so.
Looked like that might have bounced, but we do see, we do see an injury out there on the field. Looks like that's Paulo Bailey. I mean, we were
Fourth down.
Okay, we were just praising right now. Looks like Paulo Bailey is down right
time.
See number 10. Yep. So no interception, that's for sure. The ball, it's in his knees, but Paulo Bailey gets up. And it looked like he got tangled up with one of the receivers.
You see how it's good. He's walking it off right there. He was just down for a minute. You're almost concerned. Oh boy, just get up. Seeing him being able to get up now, walking normal, walking very gingerly back to the sideline. But as long as he's able to go ahead and move, we see Paulo. Oh, looked like his helmet did hit Paulo's knee, cutting him off. The helmet of Devin Bonney.
Poor Devin. That poor kid's been taking a beating all night long.
Yep.
There he is right here coming on your left. He still looks conscious.
That's a dangerous play. You see, normally when you see a helmet to the kneecap, that either takes out the knee or it actually concusses a player.
Still going on the 4th down play, and Esteen there.
No way.
Does he take away the ball? Oh no, it's in the end zone. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? Taj Balogun. Wow. Where did that come from? On 4th down, a 30-yard pass.
The penalty afterwards. But let's go back to this phenomenal catch. Ball in the air. Taj Balogun, he is 6'4", able to get on top of both defenders.
And jeez. That is the play of the year right there. He says, yeah, look what I got, fellas. And those aren't a couple of slouches down there either. That's McKeel Esteen and Stanley Livingstone.
We have a touchdown. We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike on El Segundo. So, seat up.
Okay, well, Taj Balogun. Well, there's Bailey on the trainer's table there, Paulo Bailey. We get back to the touchdown, Darius. That couldn't be the stare down from Balogun as unsportsmanlike, could it?
You could perhaps, see that as taunting, but despite that, just go back to this catch. Way to use that height, leaping up in the air, making both defenders just look at each other, arguing with one another as Taj Balogun just looks at them, saying, "You can't stop me." Just a death stare, and that was uncalled for a penalty, if you ask me. He didn't say nothing. He didn't talk trash. No words came out of his mouth. All he did was just look at them. That's all he did. We've seen way worse. That's a penalty where I'm definitely going to be against right there.
Yeah, not if you just stare him down. There's no hooping and hollering. The kick is up and good. 28-14 is the score. On the improbable 4th and 30 throw to Taj Balogun, who out-jumped, or he didn't even have to jump.
He did it. He's 6'4". He is, I think, he is taller than all the defensive backs out there. Might be the tallest kid out there on the field.
Yeah, Esteen is listed at 6'2". Livingstone is listed at 5'11". And Balogun didn't have to jump. I'm just as shocked as you are. I think even the Eagles are shocked.
What a great play. And I mean, hey, at this point now, it's only a 2-score game.
That's right.
And maybe could that be the play that go ahead and spark up that whole entire sideline?
Right there. Good.
They've been beat on all game long.
Hey, here it comes.
You see how far the penalty moved the Eagles back now. They're going to be kicking off at the 25-yard line of their own end zone, and that's going to give definitely Jordan Wilmore a chance to return if they decide to kick it to his direction. But we've been seeing them pooch kick it, but here's the thing. If they pooch kick it, they're going to be getting about the 50-yard line if they decide to pooch kick this one.
And it's a decent kick, but they kick it away from Wilmore as it's picked up by Watson. Here comes Watson, has a couple of blockers in front of him, but was tackled from behind. And a good tackle by Scott Melton. But another flag. This is back at the 40-yard line of Lawndale.
Normally when there's a flag on the return, that's normally against the return team. So I think this is going to be coming back, Lou. That's what I expect. A flag on a return always tends to go to the return team, and I won't be surprised here.
Illegal block below the waist, number 11.
So the penalty goes on Jonathan Blackman. And here we go.
You see Jonathan Blackman on the left side of the screen going low, and that's not allowed anymore. That is not allowed. Before it was allowed, now you can't do that. You can't go low like that. And I'm sure Jonathan Blackman, when he sees it in the film room, will be reminded about how the rules are nowadays. Maybe this was allowed 10 years ago or so, but not today now, not in today's football era. It's unfortunate because it takes away a good return, but
another good return.
This actually benefits the Eagles a lot more now because they're deep into their own end zone. Now, Lawndale taking the ball at the 25-yard line.
Ball is handed off to Wilmore. Wilmore waiting for the blocking to set up, and he gets a nice push and about a 20-yard gain is all.
Just when I said when it benefited the Eagles, we see Jordan Wilmore quickly taking that out my mouth.
Watch on the replay, and if you can see double Nichols out there leading the way. See, there he is.
Yeah.
Pinkston.
Look at his offensive line help, carrying that pile with him, along with Jordan Wilmore.
Excuse me, that was only 22 yards. Man in motion is Williams III. Handoff to Wilmore, straight up the middle, but had a lot of hands on him.
I think going back to that last run and how Keon Pinkston was in there pushing Jordan Wilmore along that pile. I think if I'm Jordan Wilmore, I'll go ahead and give Keon Pinkston my lunch on Monday, right?
Exactly.
You see here, cutting up the field, shedding a couple tackles. Keon Pinkston helping Jordan Wilmore. Jordan Wilmore be walking backwards pretty much. Keon Pinkston.
Let me help you, little buddy.
There you go. Jordan Wilmore, I say give him your lunch money come Monday because you owe him one after that.
Out of the shotgun, out of the eye. Wilmore tries to get through the line. El Segundo holding tough, but Wilmore finally is corralled out of bounds inside the El Segundo 40-yard line. So Wilmore starting to heat up here in the second half.
It's something that we're used to seeing here. Jordan Wilmore waited to cut up field, shedding a wimpy tackler, getting that first down, definitely running out of bounds, preserving himself, and now we are seeing the Jordan Wilmore show, in the second half. This is what they do. This is why they pull out of games, because they establish the run late in the second half. It beats up the defense, it wears them down, and it comes to the point where it's just unstoppable. And right now, Jordan Wilmore in that running game is unstoppable.
Ben Rosas was the victim by Wilmore, and this is a quarterback keeper. Hamler, with his speed, gets to the 20-yard line, steps out of bounds at about the 15, just inside the 15 to the 14. Chased out of bounds by Tim Schartz.
Just when you're trying to keep your eye on Jordan Wilmore, all eyes are on Jordan Wilmore. Jalen Hamler keeps it, cuts up field, breaking tackles, getting inside the red zone. Just inside the 15. I think Jalen Hamler was like, hold on, Jordan. Let me go ahead and do something here. I know you've been the star of the show, but let me at least get myself a couple plays here and there, right?
24 yards on the play for Hamler with 1:33 left to go in the third quarter. Livingstone splits wide to the right. To the near side, it's Williams III, out of the eye. Give it to Wilmore, who's hit by 3 Eagles and finally landed on. Alex Ron, one of the Eagles, along with Kyle Freeman.
Swarm tackling by the Eagles there. One of the very few times that they're in the backfield there. Successful. It looks like it was an obvious run play there. And that's some type of positive you can take from this drive, if you ask me, for the Eagles. Because as of right now, the Cardinals are just continuously driving down the field on the Eagles. And, you know, it's 2nd and 11 now, something we have not seen yet so far this drive, and the Eagles must capitalize here.
Play action, throws it across, and that's going to be picked off. Picked off by, I believe, Kyle Freeman. Yep, Freeman picks off Hamler and thrown out of bounds by, I believe, that was Poalani.
Kyle Freeman, Jalen Hamler looks like he was going to one receiver and one receiver only. It was just a design play to go straight to Anthony Williams, and Kyle Freeman sitting there.
So first interception, a first pass of the second half by Hamler, and intercepted.
What of a turn of events here, Lou? You got Eagles, they can score. It's a one-score game now. Big drive here after we saw a phenomenal catch from Taj Balogun. He is lined up outside with McEllisteen again. I want to see how that matchup is, because I know McEllisteen definitely has that in his mind.
Romero trying to get away from Fahina and does. Gets enough for the first down with 32.5 seconds left in the third quarter.
Rollout, looks like it's a rollout keeper. Romero is keeping the ball all the way. Way to run out of bounds, avoiding Terrence Simon there.
So to the 30-yard line, so a 15-yard gain. Out of the shotgun, the ball is handed off straight up the middle. That was to Sayson, but which Sayson?
Looks like Coach Shevlin is trying to keep the defense still honest with runs up the middle still, and I could agree with that. I could agree. You don't want to go ahead and become a little bit too one-dimensional at this point. They've been doing a lot of rollouts, working on quick passes this whole entire second half. They still probably want to go ahead and keep the Cardinals defense honest, and with a couple runs up the middle with Sayson, I could agree with that.
A 1-yard gain. It will be 2nd down and 9 when the fourth quarter starts. So we're going to switch sides, see if our reporters have anything to report. Nope. So to the 31-yard line. So El Segundo is hanging tough, and Lawndale is actually keeping the, hey, there's Sebastian Spencer. We know him.
Looks like Sebastian.
The intrepid Sebastian Spencer. See, they're just wide mouth here. How about LA? How about the Dodgers?
There's a lot of Dodger Blues that we see in the stands, and I expect to see a lot of them now for the upcoming week. Making it back to the World Series since 1988. I have not seen it. I was born in 1994, and I have not seen the Dodger World Series.
Then let's go to Sebastian.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. You know, it's hard to get a look at this Lawndale team with so many of the weapons that they have on offense, but the unsung hero of this team is the kicker and the punter, Axel Perez. And Coach Scott Huber, assistant coach for Lawndale, told me that it's a lot of D1s that are really looking at this guy. I mean, he says he can kick it from one end of the field to the other end of the field, and actually he's been getting coaching from former USC punter and kicker Mike McGilvery, and he's actually very happy to work with him, and he said he feels like Perez is one of the top recruits in the nation at his position. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sebastian. That's good information to know, but if you watch that kid kick, it's no
Prior to the snap,
no surprise.
Ball start, offense number 58, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Absolutely no surprise. The thing about it is that I almost want to see him attempt a long field goal, but it's hard for him to attempt a long field goal because Lawndale is known for always scoring touchdowns, so we only see him just kick nothing but extra points. But on kickoffs, he tends to go ahead and boot it always in the end zone, and he has a great leg on him, a great pair of legs.
Romero trying to avoid the rush, but can't do it. There's Terrence Simon Jr. getting the sack.
Poor Romero dropping back, nobody wide open. Terrence Simon, clear alley to the quarterback, and I think that's the last guy you want to get hit by on the field for the Cardinals is Terrence Simon. Poor Romero has been getting banged up all game. If his mom gonna have to go home. I say, Mom, warm up the bathtub, give him a good massage there because he's definitely gonna be feeling it in the morning.
Back to the 20-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 20. Throw it over the middle, and a nice breakup on the play by Stanley Livingstone. The intended receiver was Dylan Phillips. But where did Livingstone come from?
Livingstone, way to make the play on the ball. Obviously, Taj Bulligan made that touchdown on him. Looks like he was aiming for an interception at that time. This time, I'm pretty sure he coached him up saying, hey, don't always go for the interception. The opportunity's there, swap the ball down, just take care of business, which he did on this one. Able to swap the ball, Stan Livingston Jr. making the play there.
Romero back in punt formation. Wilmore at his own 40-yard line. Line drive punt.
Uh-oh, line drive punt to Jordan Wilmore. Oh.
Wilmore picks it up. Wanted that nice big hop.
So I saw a face mask. But that one
there goes Wilmore, and he gets belted. But let's see what happens here with the penalty flag.
I think I saw a face mask there. There was a hand to Jordan Wilmore's face mask, the first defender getting there.
There's Jay Belshaw. So it'll be from the spot of the foul.
5 yards that way. Okay.
Dylan Phillips, the guilty party.
During the run, face mask, incidental, 5 yards, first down.
Incidental, which it rightfully called right there. It was incidental. I don't think Dylan Phillips was aiming for his face mask. He was just trying to at least get a hand on Jordan Wilmore because what can you do when Jordan Wilmore's coming up to you? At some point, you have to just go ahead and put something on him, and it was just a lot to handle for Dylan Phillips at the moment.
So at the 37-yard line of El Segundo, that's where Hamler and the Cardinals will start off out of the shotgun. And a whistle right after the snap.
False start. Right to the snap, false start, offense. False start, number 55, still first down.
Well, Pinkston has been doing everything. And he's probably got about 20 yards and penalties all on his own. Yep. So the left guard pulling there.
Jumping the gun a little too early.
But still got a hit in before the play stop.
At some point, you know, if I'm going to go ahead and get in trouble, let me go ahead and make the best of it at this point, right?
Wilmore gets it, stutters around, goes down the sideline. Here he comes, runs into his own man, and ping-pongs his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals.
It's been the Jordan Wilmore show this whole entire second half for the Cardinals.
And another flag on the play. Going to be unsportsmanlike on somebody.
After the touchdown. Touchdown, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct.
On Lawndale.
See Jordan Wilmore taking the carry, off tackle. Great way to seal it for Terrence Simon. Great blocking from him. Jordan Wilmore running into his own teammate, but that was not able to stop him.
Actually,
entering the end zone.
Anthony Williams III kind of sprung him towards the middle of the field there.
Bounced off what you said, what, ping pong, right? I did not see the penalty there.
Or pinball. Well, it must have happened on the other side of the field.
The thing is, Jordan Wilmore scores a lot of touchdowns. Okay, that's his 5th of the day for crying out loud. And we're used to seeing his touchdowns. I would like to know what he actually did there because from my end, from what I saw, I absolutely saw nothing at this point.
It was definitely not on the towards the near sideline here. It was definitely more around where the goalposts are. The extra point is good with 10:41 left to go in the fourth quarter. It's 35-14 now. in favor of Lawndale. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even think we caught it. Let's take a look at the replay.
Handoff. Look at Terrence Simon sealing the edge for him and pushing the defender all the way back. Great blocking from Terrence Simon. Jordan Wilmore following that block.
The block in the back.
Up the field, getting that touchdown. Now, they said unsportsmanlike after this, and
oops.
It's just from what I saw afterwards, a touchdown. And we've seen so many of Jordan Wilmore's touchdowns and he's never been called for an unsportsmanlike. And you already know how I felt about that unsportsmanlike on Taj Mulligan, excuse me, for the Eagles, on how that was not a good call if you ask me. So I'm not sure if the officials could be a little bit too trigger happy here.
Well, I think they anticipated a physical game, and physical they got. So that they're just trying to keep things under control, and they've had maybe a little bit too tight of a leash on this game.
Yeah, especially the way the first 5 minutes of this game was very, very physical, and you can see where a couple players made a couple of, boneheaded mistakes there, and from there that just set the tone.
A high kick, and is taken by McKenty, trying to escape the Cardinal tacklers, and does, but can't go too far upfield.
The thing about this Cardinals defense, special teams, anytime that they're defending, if they shed a couple blocks, if the opposing team sheds a couple blocks, as we see here of Danny McKenty getting passed by 2 Cardinal defenders, but there's always another Cardinals defender around swarming that ball. They do play that swarm defense there, way to swarm around the ball, because I thought that there might have been something right there for McKenty. Was able to create some space, but couldn't go nowhere after that. But at this point now, it's 4 down territory, you asked me, for the Eagles at this point of the game.
Back to pass is Romero, and the pass is complete, but not without paying the toll, that's for sure. Another big hit. A gain of about 8 on the play.
Nice completion there. Stanley Livingstone making a solid tackle. But a good 7-8 yard gain there from Devin Bonney. And with just under 10 minutes at this point, Eagles, they're in 4 down territory, being down 21.
That last drive was a 1-play drive, 42 yards. And McKenty can't catch up with that one. Livingstone getting a hand in there as well.
The ball sailed a little bit too high there. We see here rolling out to the left side. It's still a tough throw to make. And it was there, maybe a little bit too high though for Danny McKenty. As we see, he had to stretch a little bit. If he probably lowered it down, putting it more in Danny's range, then it could have been a completed pass. But rolling out to the left, making that throw there. We've seen him a couple times. He's made some plays with it, but for the past few plays where he's rolled out to his left, seemed to be off target there. Big time 3rd down there for them.
3rd and 2 for the Eagles. High snap, ball is given off to McKenty, and he really makes his best run of the night now, back down to the Cardinal 41-40-yard line. Nice run by Danny McKenty.
McKenty, once he gets into the field, I love the way he runs, such a patient runner. And once he cuts up to the field, he will gain those yards, and we saw there. And this Eagles offense, okay, they're making some plays in the second half, and you know, we know that Coach Shevlin of the Eagles did say with that Culver City loss on how much was at stake during that game, and that could catch up to the team with how young and inexperienced that they are, and their emotions could overwhelm them. And you could also see that might have happened with today's game against Lawndale in the first half, where the emotions was probably overwhelming for them at this point.
It's a big game for them. This is a measuring stick game for the Eagles, that's for sure. And the pitch goes to McKenty, As Fahina tries to unscrew the head, now we're seeing a little bit more chippiness come back with 8:45 left to go.
Good toss play there. Defense swarming. Knocking Fahina. If I had $1 for every time I said his name tonight.
So that was a loss of a yard, so it's 2nd down and 11. Pass to the far sideline and just too short.
Throw that Romero needed to make there. Nobody was on Michael Gonzalez rolling out there. Pass was just too short and wobbly. Michael Gonzalez, I'm pretty sure he's not going to say anything, but he's going to, I know what he's thinking inside.
8:16 left to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 11. Taj Balogun and his purple shoes split out to the left side. And now
I think it might be a delayed game call at this point.
that would have been a quick one. You get 25 seconds, but it doesn't show anywhere except for the back judge's watch.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 11, 5-yard penalty.
So they call that on Devin Bonney.
What you said about Taj Balogun. I was expecting to see a little bit more of him after that touchdown pass, but sort of shied away from him at this point.
So that pass is incomplete. Very well covered by the Cardinal defense.
Another rollout pass, what we see. Quickly released, Terrence Simon coming in like a maniac. Was not able to get Romero a little bit settled, comfortable making that pass on the run, hitting Devin Bonney, overthrowing him. And like I said, they are in 4th down territory with over 8 minutes down 21, so they got to go ahead and get this 1st down.
Out of the shotgun, everybody goes into the pattern, and the pass is complete down the middle, but still not enough for a 1st down. As Danny McKenty gets up awful slow after he was hit by a couple of pickup trucks.
Danny McKenty making the pass, knowing the risk he's taking, but Stanley Livingstone making another crucial tackle there. It's another name we're calling a lot tonight. Livingstone being all over the field tonight, stopping them prior to reaching the sticks. Big time stop there.
You guys on gases right now.
Okay, but right now that was an 8-yard gain, but it's still not enough.
Giving the Lawndale Cardinals offense once again the ball, and it's been a Jordan Wilmore show, and I probably think that he's going to close off the show this drive the way he's been running this whole entire 2nd half at this point. There you go. Wow.
So a nice defensive run by El Segundo there.
Very surprised to see that right there. Jordan Wilmore, a loss of 4 or 5 yards, trying to bounce outside. Jorge Montani being there, disrupting the run, and a big loss for the Cardinals.
Loss in the play of 3 yards, but Wilmore gets that back. Wilmore bounces off a tackler, has 1 man to beat in the sprint. Wilmore has a wide open sideline into the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals. And let's see, is there a flag? Don't see a flag. With 7:40 left to go, 6 touchdowns for Jordan Wilmore. And that ball was given up on the 34-yard line by El Segundo. So
just when you think you stopped him, Jordan Wilmore following his blocks, shedding tackles, breaking it, cutting upfield, and using that breakaway speed and cutting back on the field, making defenders running to each other for the Eagles. And he's in for his 6th touchdown of the game. I don't believe what I'm seeing right now. I don't believe what I'm seeing. And here is the crazier part about this is that this is just another day at the office for Jordan Wilmore. The 6-touchdown game. I mean, what else is new? The sky is blue. Okay.
And the extra point is good. 7:40 left to go in the fourth quarter. 42-14 in favor of Lawndale. 6 touchdowns by Jordan Wilmore, and he's not even the whole story of this game.
Definitely not, but the double hat trick for Jordan Wilmore, and just what we talked about earlier at the start of the second half, Will, about how the Cardinals, their second half team, pulling away significantly now, outscoring the Eagles 21-7 here in the second half. All 3 touchdowns coming from, of course, Jordan Wilmore.
After he lost 4 yards, then he gained 70 yards.
After his worst run of the game, pulled off, well, I would say his best run of the game, but every touchdown has been absolutely amazing. So he's one of his many great runs, and the story continues with this young man.
So 70 yards on the play. And there you saw Pinkston sitting on the sideline getting some hydration. Nice cool night. And
there's that leg. There's that leg kicking it into the end zone.
Perez kicks it into the end zone. And McKenty wanted to run it out. Did you see how he tried not to stay in the field of play, but it was caught just in the end zone. But man,
this is a juggernaut that we're watching right now. This Lawndale team. I mean, coming into tonight, highly anticipated game. El Segundo, we're not going to write them off. Don't let the score go ahead and define what El Segundo is. They're still a really good football team that could possibly still make the playoffs.
Oh, I would imagine they will, but this is chased out of bounds, and so won't be intentional grounding or.
Looks like we've got Sayson in that quarterback.
Sayson, yeah, playing one play there. This is a nice spiral.
I think they're going to keep Darius Sayson at quarterback at this point, and I think rightfully so. Romero, he's taking a beating. I don't envy where Romero's position is at right now. I'm pretty sure he's got to go ahead and keep him safe.
Yeah, you got to save him. Yeah, if you want to make the playoffs, there's a playoff team, that's for sure. Is McKenty? He's still going, that's for sure. But I think Fahina made him go flying with that shoe tackle. That's a kid with a lot of heart there.
Nice read option. Terrence Simon laying the wood once again.
6-yard gain.
How about going one-on-one against Terrence Simon? How much do I got to pay you, Lou, to go ahead and go one-on-one with Terrence Simon?
Well, you don't got enough. Even your car ain't worth it.
Not worth it. You have to also count the medical bills, right?
No, you'd have to get the funeral bills, the cremation cost.
Oh, boy. There's another penalty on the play.
Formation. Pass complete for a first down? Yes. Take the penalty. Illegal formation, offense. Penalty is 5 yards, still third down.
So it could have been a first down. There's now a 5-yard penalty, so it goes back to 3rd and 9. So Sayson in at quarterback now for El Segundo. Let's hope that Matthew Romero's okay. But there's Mr. Simon again, making the play for a no gain. So it's 4th and 10.
Terrence Simon obviously making a case of being, well, in my eyes, the defensive player of the game. Offensive player, we know where that's going to, but Terrence Simon all over the field today. And at this point now, Segundo waving the white flag, sending out the punting unit. Just over 5 minutes left, down by 28. Are we going to see number 7 by Jordan Wilmore, Lou, or is Coach Clark going to pull the plug?
Armand Saison sends this one straight up in the air, so he's not even going to be able to get it.
Oh, that takes a good bounce for them. Where it was landed at, that took a little bit better bounce for them. But
well, it had enough height.
Yes.
It just needed to go that away a little more.
Was kicking a bit against the wind, but just the way he kicked it, it just went straight up into the air.
Kind of like one of my golf swings every now and then. Straight up in the air. Don't know how it does it, but it does. Steve Shevlin is just beside himself now. He's trying to make a joke with the lines guy. It's all he can do. From the 39-yard line, Hamler going for it all, has to get around a man, but it's picked off again, but dropped by Hunter Lynch as Jonathan Blackman had to turn into defensive back.
Hamler, a lot of his throws are short. His throws a good defensive play there. I should say it's weird saying that for Jonathan Blackman, the receiver, but he made a great defensive play because we saw where Hunter Lynch, great position to make an interception. Blackman needing to relieve himself from his receiver duties and become a defensive back there. Good play, and a little surprising that Coach Clark's still going for the end zone, but not the first time that we see him do this late in the game with a significant lead.
Just keep the pedal to the metal. Hamler throws it low and short, and it's incomplete.
It just keeps you wondering.
Davis.
It just keeps you wondering too, because this stops the clock. You know, this stops the clock right now. Essentially, the game is pretty much over.
I said I disagree with you.
Bouncing off. The throw was there, but it bounced off Nate Davis's hands.
Low.
Travis Clark and Jay Belshaw are getting into a little bit of a tussle, a little bit of an argument.
I think they want him to run the ball. From what I saw from reading Belshaw's lips, I look like he said run the ball.
But it's not his call.
That's what he's going to do. Yeah, he told him that, Lou.
Yep. And then Jordan Wilmore takes a little stroll along the sideline. Almost came out, oh, maybe he's got to get a hot dog. So they're going to keep the clock rolling, or are they?
He ran out of bounds, but
he did run out of bounds, that's right.
Bouncing off tackle play by Jordan Wilmore.
The end of the run. Back 10 yards from here.
So a 10-yard penalty.
Still third down.
Holding on.
10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Still third down.
So they had 8 yards on the run, put 8 yards more for Jordan Wilmore. But then they take away 10 yards on the holding penalty. So here comes Simon. Simon says, I'm going to go towards the first down marker. And gets down to the 30-yard line where it's going to be 4th down and 2.
Terrence Simon, what a mean run here. Look like a Jerome Bettis, if you're asking me. Doing it on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Big 6 feet, 225, moving the pile, continuing to move the pile, getting the first down. Terrence Simon, well, he's a biggins, and he is tough to bring down, Lou.
23-yard line, we're going to call that, so a first down.
Once again, Terrence Simon taking the carry. He doesn't want to go off tackle. He wants to go up the middle, dragging on the pile. This is what he does.
There he goes. Bounces off a couple of more guys, and now we have a penalty flag. 4:02, as you see that at the bottom of your screen, left to go in the ball game. So Terrence Simon's just a junior also.
Bring the run, holding offense, number 4, 10 yards till first down.
I know there's a holding play there, but look at this run by Terrence Simon, shutting off both tackles and trying to use that stiff arm to get the defender off of him. Has to take more than one to get him down.
James Amaral was the trailer behind Simon, literally had hooked onto him. But it's first down and 12. So coming on is another running back. They just keep rolling him out there. And that's Jonathan Watson.
I was waiting, to see a little Jonathan Watson. I like his scrappiness. He runs very, very hard, especially at his size. We see him carrying the pile with him, carrying some of the defenders, getting a solid run there for Jonathan Watson. 5'9", 170.
Carrying Devin Bonney with him.
Get your box up here.
So they get the first down. So nice play by Watson, who's the tailback now. And he'll get the ball, go over the right side, gets a few yards.
He is hitting that gap like if he had the size of a Terrence Simon. That's what I like about Watson. Look at him. Deciding to go up against 3 defenders there, lowering his shoulder. We know he was not going to go anywhere, but you just got to like the heart on him.
Follows his blocker. And did he get into the end zone? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Watson. Touchdown, Cardinals. Oh, my goodness. He just disappeared into the pile after following Nicholas Paredes. And off he went, cutting back into the end zone.
Good for him. He's another one. He's another guy excited to see the ball here. We see where, as you said, just disappears once he hits that hole. You can't see him. You can't see him. Look at him.
Where is he?
You can't.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. And the only time you see him is when he pops out into the end zone. Good touchdown run. And I don't know about you, Lou, but I'm actually shocked that we are seeing a Cardinal touchdown that is not Jordan Wilmore for once.
Yeah, that's true. Got to spread the wealth a little bit as Perez tacks on the extra point again.
Exactly.
So a 15-yard touchdown run by Watson. And Dr. Watson, I presume, along with Dr. Livingstone, I presume, all had good games. And there you just saw the head go back on Jorge Antani. Like, oh my gosh. So Watson with his first touchdown of the game, 15 yards. And he was pretty much responsible for, well, he and Terrence Simon Jr. were responsible for all of those yards.
Definitely they took the load off of Jordan Wilmore there. And then the running game, it looked no different actually. Maybe minus the big-time touchdown runs, but the running game was still efficient there on that drive.
3.5 minutes as the ball is kicked into the end zone. And Joey Gorte, the junior running back, catches the ball. So 2:14 left to go. And this Lawndale team, I would imagine that Coach Clark just does not want these kids to let up.
No, he doesn't. And we just saw actually the last drive where the head official and Coach Clark, they sort of went back and forth with words because I think he was being told to run the ball, stop passing. The game is well over, and at that point I agree as well. I want the game to end at this point. You're risking more injury if you're leaving more time on the clock. And you can see where they're starting to wind the clock down now. The clock is going to continue to run here.
Sayson gets hit every which way but loose.
He himself feeling it after that one. A little shaking up there. Sayson
Fahani. Oh,
Is
there
that-
was the big hit by number 8 there. That was Nate Davis. 5 yards the hard way.
Nate Davis, another thickens there. It's just a big time unit. And talking to Coach Shevlin before the game, he was very aware of how big and physical that front 7 of Lawndale is.
And coming out of the pile,
Nate Davis again flying to the ball.
it's Joey Gorte.
You see here with Nate Davis. Gorte taking the carry. He sees daylight. Nate Davis coming through, finishing up.
But he got the first down.
Sure did, and I think the Eagles are going to go ahead and let this wind down. Looks like they're
19 seconds left, and there still might be one play left in the tank. Nope, they're going to walk off the sideline. And this one's going to go into the win column for the Lawndale Cardinals on homecoming. 49-14 Cardinals.
49-14.
I can't believe the
speechless.
I can't believe in the pregame.
I can't believe that you're speechless.
It's just like I can't believe in the pregame where I definitely thought that this was going to be definitely a tighter game because we've been calling nothing but one-sided games for the Cardinals. I think that they took my early pregame as an insult to them, and they went to go prove me wrong. So, you know, I got to go ahead and give Coach Clark some more credit. You know, he's continuing to.
And let's go down to, not yet. Okay. Keep going there, Sebastian.
All right, so with this win now, they're 8-0. Continuing to be undefeated, and El Segundo going to 6-2. But this score, what I said earlier, does not define El Segundo because they are still a good team. It is a tougher task now because Culver City did win. They ended up being Hawthorne, so Culver City's now taking the lead, especially winning over El Segundo now. So El Segundo is trailing behind in the Ocean League standings. But they got to finish the season strong. They're 6-2.
Okay, I have Jordan Wilmore's numbers.
Oh boy, let me guess, Lula. I'm not looking at your papers right now. I want to say 185 yards.
185 yards?
That's my guess. That
Not
he had
even
on
close.
the ground. Oh boy. Is it total yards or are we counting the long touchdown?
I'm just talking about rushing yards total.
Oh boy.
He had 18 carries, 5 touchdowns on the ground, 276 yards.
Don't ever take me to Vegas, Lou.
Okay, as soon as Sebastian is ready, we will go to him. And actually, Travis is smiling. And I can see.
Hear him.
About how you see played in that first quarter. Just talk about how they finished off the game.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we talked about it at halftime, you know, about starting fast. And, you know, or before the game, we talked about starting fast, and obviously we did not. And I was a little disappointed the way we came out. I thought we were a little flat for a homecoming game, televised game, you know, Ocean League, you know, implication. So, you know, I was a little disappointed, but the kids, I love the way they came out in the second half and showed that we are the dominant team at this point in the Ocean League.
Definitely, and we talked about it earlier. The 2 toughest teams that you guys were going to face, you faced them 2 weeks in a row, and you handled El Segundo here. Just talk about why this game was so personal to you as well.
Well, I mean, some people heard about last year. You know, we played them over there, and it was a tough game. You know, 14-7, heartbreaking game. You know, 7-7 through 4 quarters, and I thought we played very well. We got some bad calls, like I think some of you guys saw tonight. You know, we get a bad rap every now and then, but it's okay. We fight through adversity, and you know, it was a little scuffle at the end. Their assistant coaches putting their hands on me and being very disrespectful. And, you know, I don't think that they would have done that to any other guy. I know my assistant coaches would never do that to Coach Shevlin because we have too much respect for them, and this is just a game. But, you know, it was very personal that we come out here and dominate that program, and I'm very excited that my kids came out and did that.
And I know you guys have so many players on that offense that make it happen for you. But I also talked about you guys as kicker earlier and how important he is to you. And, you know, they say he can kick it from one end of the field to the other. And just talk about him, because sometimes the kickers go unforgotten, but he's definitely making himself known out here.
He's flipped the field for us. You know, he's changed the game. We've always, over the years, have played great defense. And the fact that, you know, teams have to drive 80 yards every time, you know, it's difficult for the opponent when we're playing good defense like that. So he's made our offense, our team, a better team. As you notice, you know, we've been keeping a lot of opponents down with numbers in terms of points. And that's because we're kicking the ball, you know, in the end zone. They're starting under 20. You got to go 80 yards. For a high school, a college, or an NFL team to go 80 yards without a mistake is a very difficult task to do. So Axel Perez is doing a tremendous job for us with the kicking game.
Coach, good luck to you in these upcoming games.
We appreciate it.
All right, no problem. As usual. All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Sebastian. And a relieved Travis Clark, and quite a very poignant Travis Clark as well, talking about all of the things going. Hey, there's Coach Chris Brownlee in the house. Is he doing his job tonight? Good to see Chris anytime we come here. And some nice comments there, or very poignant comments by Travis Clark about making up for last year.
It's
and let's go down to Tolly.
He said he knew tonight was going to be challenging against the Cardinals, but he definitely believes in his guys and thought that they did a great job tonight. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Tolly Anderson. And the El Segundo Eagles did have a lot of heart, that's for sure, but it just wasn't enough against that tough defense put up by the Lawndale Cardinals, let alone the 6 touchdowns by Jordan Wilmore.
It's crazy because going back to Coach Clark's post-game interview, he's talking about how he was still disappointed, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but it sounds like a Bill Belichick, if you ask me, where, you know, still disappointed after what, 49-14 victory. You're 8-0. Your team just completely dominated the game. But you know what? That's what great coaches do. They will still, you know, nothing's ever perfect in their eyes. And I mean, you're right. You know, they gave up a touchdown on offense with a botched snap. A lot of penalties happened, and a lot of undisciplined football that we saw happen here tonight for the Cardinals. But miraculously, they just blew them out. Blew them out by 35, and it's just amazing to hear that. And it just tells you that Coach Clark, you know, he's not going to be satisfied with a performance like this, and he still will keep the train rolling for them, for the Cardinals.
Well, he's that type of coach, kind of like a college basketball coach, where they can win 30 in a row, and the coach still says, "Oh, I don't ever know if we're going to win another ball game." But that's just the way that Travis Clark works. That's the way his motor runs, and that's the way to keep his players motivated from the first kickoff until the last play of the game.
Yeah, definitely. They also pulling away in the second half. Phenomenal second half team. They're definitely the juggernaut in this, you know, in this league.
All right, so let's go down to Sebastian with a very special guest.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I'm here with Jordan Wilmore. Jordan, you had a really good game tonight. Talk about what this game means to you, especially since you were on the team last year that lost that heartbreaker that Coach Clark talked about last year to this El Segundo team.
Last year, as you guys know, we lost, and we didn't even want to lose to them. And then we came back this year like with a different mindset, knowing we can't lose any games, especially to these guys.
How personal is this matchup for you guys? Because I know Coach Clark took this one personal, and I know you guys get up for a lot of certain games. I mean, you're undefeated. You get up for every game. But just talk about how personal this one was for you guys.
This one was personal because last year, as you guys know, we had like a brawl after the game, and it was kind of disrespectful. And we knew like this year, we just had to come like with a different attitude and just win the game.
What's some of your goals going into the next coming weeks of league play and then on the playoffs? Because you guys have a very promising year, and I know you said earlier that you feel like this is the team that you feel like that can do it.
Honestly, the only thing that's on my mind is winning the championship and the CIF, and obviously winning the league championship too. That's it, really.
There you go, guys.
Oh, thanks, Sebastian. And Jordan Wilmore is happy to get payback on the El Segundo Eagles as well on homecoming night. A very happy Cardinal crew. 49-14 is the victory. Hey, we're going to take a little time out here so we can figure out who the player of the game and the tip of the hat are, and maybe some extra numbers when we come back on City TV.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
Back here at Lawndale High School in the Cardinals' nest, along with Darius Jackson, I'm Lou Stowers. And down on the field, want to thank Sebastian Spencer and Tolly Anderson for all of their perspective on tonight's huge homecoming win, 49-14 over the El Segundo Eagles. Always a tough task, always chippy as well, as that's how the game started off, and maybe a little bit of memory from the past.
It definitely was. Obviously, last year, the way how they ended off carried on over into this game. A lot of penalties we saw. It sort of set the bar high, and that's why the officials seem to be very trigger happy with the flags that we saw and what you said about them icing that shoulder with the amount of penalties. But that does not negate the fact that Lawndale, they dominated today. They dominated tonight, and it's going to be, they're taking over the Ocean League standings right now. Beautiful victory over El Segundo. Pulled away in the second half. They are a second-half football team. And, boy, I'm excited to see where they're going to move it on, especially when it comes to the playoff time.
All great teams are second-half teams, and they listen to their coaches, and this team certainly does. And they do not take their foot off of the pedal.
They don't. They keep it going, and Coach Clark makes sure this team keeps pushing it to the metal, and was still taking chances in the end zone where him and the head official went back and forth at it because he's saying, hey, why are you throwing the ball? Run the ball, end the game. That's not what Coach Clark wants to do. He wants to make sure he runs the table, scores, and definitely wants to dominate every single game that he's in.
Wants to work that passing game with Jalen Hammer. There's so much emphasis on the running game. It's so successful that, what do you think, it might take away from Jason's game?
For me, for Jalen's game, I'm not necessarily sure. Jalen Hammer, he was a bit shaky tonight. He was very happy feet, and that seems to be his problem. When he gets a little happy feet, he makes these inaccurate throws. It does sail on him, and sometimes some of these balls did come up short on the deep passes. Didn't necessarily connect with Jonathan Blackman, which I was surprised tonight because Jonathan Blackman is one of my favorite targets to see here. He's very fast and was not able to connect with him. Jalen Hamler couldn't get the passing game going, and I was thinking that he wanted to go ahead and give him some type of confidence booster towards the end of the game, which is why we saw him wanting to pass the ball a lot more towards the end.
Needs to get a little bit more air under his passes. But again, the El Segundo Eagles, one of their high points on defense is their linebackers, safeties, and defensive backs.
Yeah, El Segundo, they were flying to the ball, but they could only do so much at this point, though, because you got Lawndale being such a juggernaut of an offense, and they are winning in all aspects of the game when it comes to the ground. And then they open up in the air, which did give Jalen Hamler a couple fits, forcing a couple turnovers. Excuse me, this happens when you stay late, right?
Yeah, it's live TV,
Yeah. So, but going back to that, back seven of the defensive side for El Segundo, they did give Jalen Hamler a couple fits, and you have to give them credit too as to why Hamler struggled a bit on the air tonight.
But what about the defense of Lawndale tonight? They took care of business, only gave up one touchdown.
Only gave up one touchdown, okay? They were shutting them out throughout the majority of the game, and I got to definitely acknowledge that great touchdown by Taj, number one, the receiver from El Segundo. Phenomenal catch there. Their only offensive touchdown that they had. It was a beauty. But other than that, that defense played lights out. We acknowledged so many players tonight. Livingstone, Terrence Simon, Fahini,
Pinkston,
McKellisteen.
Piloto.
Oh, boy, that defense has everybody out there playing lights out, playing phenomenal. This is a scary defense, and that's a very scary front seven that teams are very aware that you have to be bigger and more faster and more physical than them, and that's hard to find nowadays.
And a lot of those guys are just juniors. That's the head shaker right there. Well, and now we go to that made Darius speechless. So that's something to do right there. They even stopped you.
Yeah, I'm a defensive guy right now, and if I appreciate great defensive play, and the fact that that defense is leaving me speechless, that tells you how dominant that defense is right now.
Well, let's go to our favorite part of the game. Okay, we got it all going on here. Oh, go to our best players. Their player of the game. That was our player of the game right there. Player of the game and the tip of the hat. Let's go to our player of the game. Correct? We got the player of the game here, and who other than Jordan Wilmore, who had altogether 338 yards and 6 touchdowns. And hey, yeah, he got. We're still live on the air here, guys. Well, that's okay. Come on. We're going to have to get you a SAG card now. He was on the air so much. 338 yards and 6 touchdowns overall, and that doesn't even include his return yards.
It doesn't, and Jordan Wilmore, this ain't new. This ain't new for us to go ahead and say Jordan Wilmore, the player of the game, 6 total touchdowns. Every time he was able to break away, he just manhandles everybody out there, using that speed, using that power, also his spin moves, juke moves. He just has it all. He's a perfect package, and also working his receiving skills as well. He is the ultimate player, the ultimate football player out there on the football field. It's very exciting to see him. I tell my folks back home, hey, look, make a drive out here to Lawndale because you got to see this kid play. He's only a junior, so if you're not able to catch it this year, you definitely got to catch him play next year because he's just a dominant football player.
Do we have the highlights for Jordan? Let's go. Let's see it and break it down, Darius.
Definitely very glad to break down these highlights. Look at Jordan Wilmore manhandling all the defenders, carrying them into the end zone for the touchdown here. And let's see his receiving skills, getting passed by the defender. Wide open, separating him. That breakaway speed, you're not going to be able to catch him once he breaks into the open field. Look at that spin move. Able to cut up across the field along the sideline. And you know what? At this point now, you have, when you take an angle, you have to go ahead and aim all the way to the end zone to take an angle because you're not going to be able to catch him at this point. And let's see him around the edge once again, bumping into his own teammates, which was able to go ahead and boost him into the middle of the field to get into the end zone here. Once again, shutting off. Great stiff arm there. Coming back to the sideline, breaking away. That breakaway speed is just unreal. You know, I tell you what, if I ever try to go ahead and race him, I'm pretty sure I'll pull both my hamstrings.
It's a thing of beauty to watch. And you don't get a lot of these kids running through. You get a lot of the kids running through here, but you get once in a class, maybe once in 2 or 3 classes. This young man, in the 10 years that I've been doing games here for City TV Sports, I don't think there's anybody. He is the cream of the crop as far as running backs that we have seen come out of the South Bay area, that's for sure. Well, congratulations to Jordan Wilmore for being the player of the game. How about the tip of the hat? And the tip of the hat, well, we could give it to the whole defense, but then there was one guy in particular who did it on both sides of the ball. Actually, 2 guys. There was Keon Pinkston, who did it on both sides of the ball in the line, but then there was Terrence Simon, who's right there with Rufus Washington, and the tip of the hat goes to him. And he had 6 carries for 64 yards on offense.
Terrence Simon, he could do it all. And you know what, Jordan Wilmore, he might have been the best player out there for tonight. Terrence Simon, he was the meanest one out there tonight. Terrence Simon, you know, making plays on both sides of the ball, running very hard on the ground as well, looking like what reminded me of a little Jerome Bettis, you know, just hard to take down, just a big tank of a running back that he is when he gets the ball. But that just let's go over to the defensive side, and it's just a different story. Once again, leaving me speechless again, Lou, because seeing him play on the defensive side, he just flies to the ball there. He might be a biggins, but boy, don't underestimate that speed because it left Romero, the quarterback, definitely looking like a deer in the headlights on a couple plays, running for his life. Terrence Simon definitely deserves the tip of the hat.
That's right. So also Fahini and Tui Poloto with big plays as well. And just overall, a total defensive masterpiece put together by Coach Travis Clark and orchestrated by the Cardinals, that's for sure, and a huge win on homecoming night. Well, that's going to do it from... Oh, we have highlights from Simon. So let's go break it down.
Let's go ahead and put the cherry on top with these highlights. Look at Terrence Simon again. The reason why he's the tip of the hat, making these plays, wrapping up, swarming to the ball, just taking down Romero there. Let's see him on the running back side as well. He's not. See, he doesn't want to go ahead and juke anybody, spin. He wants to go ahead and truck you. Look at him wrapping up, flying to the ball. You know he's going to be feeling that in the morning. Taking another carry, going straight forward. Let me go ahead and gain as much yards as I can and hurt you at the same time. Romero, oh boy, that one right there. Romero, he needs to go ahead and take. Romero needs to go ahead when he sleeps tonight. He needs to sleep in the ice tub because I'm pretty sure he's feeling every single hit from Terrence Simon that we just saw right now in the highlights, Lou.
Oh yeah, there's a rough one for the El Segundo Eagles, but a terrific game for the Lawndale Cardinals. Well, that's going to do it for this game, partner. Another good job by Darius Jackson. Also want to thank Tolly Anderson and Sebastian Spencer and the terrific City TV Sports crew looking for another trophy, that's for sure. And, well, this is Lou Stowers for everybody here, telling you once again the final score from Lawndale High School on homecoming, 49-14. Until next week, so long.